Ready to tackle that building project? Start right. Start here at H&L Rapid True Value for building supplies. The time by H&L Rapid True Value is...
Nationwide time, 5 o'clock.
Learn about smart betting strategies with AnyBet. Bet wisely, enjoy responsibly, and maximize your success. The temperature by AnyBet is...
It's 32 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 29 in Montego Bay.
News at 5 teasers are brought to you by Advanced Scales and Equipment. Service is our total commitment.
From the Nationwide News Network, comprehensive, incisive, tough. This is Nationwide at 5.
Good afternoon, I'm Robianne Williams.
And I'm Mahiri Stewart.
In Nationwide News at this hour, blood like rice grain.
Witness in the murder trial of Constable Noel Maitland recounts washing blood seeping from a settee brought to a Kingston car wash in July 2022.
Students entering grade 7 who are struggling will have a reduced subject load of 6.
These students will be taken through a more targeted program to ensure they are better equipped to pursue a successful secondary school life.
Water restrictions for persons served by the Constant Spring Water Network take effect today.
Most of the wells drilled in the corporate area show high nitrate levels due to their exposure to soak-away pits.
In news from the rest of the world, 3 Haitian police officers and 2 civilians killed as gangs overrun the central region.
Gazans wasting away as mass starvation spreads in humanitarian groups warn.
In headline sports, Jamaican sprint star runs personal best to secure a spot at the World Athletics Championship in Japan in September.
And later in our broadcast, in our cover story at 5:35, the Education Transformation Oversight Committee, ETOC, says the implementation of the recommendations of the Orlando Patterson report are now 30% complete. We'll hear from ETOC's chairman, Dr. Adrian Stokes.
In public opinion at 6:26, we ask, are you now more confident in sharing information with the police than you were 5 years ago? Give us your comments by logging onto our Facebook page, Nationwide News Network, and by tweeting us at Nationwide Radio, and message us on WhatsApp at 876-285-5693. You can also leave your comments on Instagram at Nationwide90FM.
In the nation's business at 6:40, the National Water Commission, NWC, says high levels of nitrate in groundwater sources have prevented it from drilling more wells to access the vast reservoirs of water to alleviate drought conditions in Kingston and St. Andrew. Deputy Managing Director of the Water Resources Authority, Geoffrey Marshall, will join us.
And at 8, it's Boyatings After Dark with Kareem Boyatings Weathers.
All these and more as we take you home on air on your mobile, Nationwide 90FM, Nationwide Radio, JM.com, and on the Nationwide app available on Google Play and the App Store. This Wednesday afternoon, it's Wednesday, July 23, 2025.
News at 5 teasers were brought to you by Advanced Scales and Equipment. Service is our total commitment.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
Now to the details. Blood like rice grain. That's how a witness in the murder trial of Constable Noel Maitland described the substance she saw seeping from a settee that was brought to a Kingston car wash in July 2022. The settee in question belongs to the accused, Noel Maitland, who is charged with the murder of his then-girlfriend Donnelly Donaldson. Maitland's also charged for the unlawful burial of her body, which has never been recovered. The witness, who's testifying remotely from overseas, is the 10th witness in the high-profile case. Robian Williams was in court.
The witness recounted the events of July 13, 2022. She said a man she described as brown-skinned, short, and thick-bodied visited the car wash where she worked on Lyndhurst Road in Kingston. The witness was asked to look around the courtroom to identify the brown man she referred to, but there was no positive identification because she said the camera was blurry. She told the court that around 9 a.m. on July 13, 2022, the The man drove into the compound and spoke briefly with her before leaving. She said she saw the same man return later around 1 p.m. with 2 other individuals and a blue and white truck carrying a brown 3-piece settee. The men placed the settee in the car wash bay and she approached them to offer cleaning assistance. While cleaning the right corner of the settee with degreaser, bleach, and a power wash gun, the witness said she observed what she described as a lot of blood. It read and it smelled raw, she told the court, adding that the sight shocked her. She recalled saying at the time, "Jesus, this here one here must dead or him bleed out. Look like them kill somebody in it." At this point, the witness was seen on camera shaking her head. The defense quickly objected to the witness's claim, arguing it was speculative. But the judge, Justice Leighton Pusey, allowed her observation to stand, noting it could be challenged during cross-examination. The witness continued. She stated that one of the individuals who came with the brown man came with a bottle of vinegar. She said she told him to get 2 more bottles of vinegar. The witness said after her initial wash, the man she identified as the brown man took over the cleaning. She said, "Him start wash the settee himself. I see a lot of blood like rice grain coming from the right corner of the settee." Whispers filled the courtroom as the witness described seeing blood like rice grain coming from the settee. She described the area as having a strong smell and being swarmed by flies. The settee remained at the complex until the following day, July 14, when she saw it still wet and surrounded by flies. She told the court it has not been seen there since. The witness also said police later visited the location, took photographs, and reviewed security camera footage as part of their investigation. During her testimony, which included references to the presence of blood, the mother of the deceased, Donnelly Donaldson, broke down in tears and left the courtroom. The matter has been adjourned until Tuesday, July 29, when the trial will resume. Robeanne Williams for Nationwide News. Students entering grade 7 who are identified to be struggling will be allowed to do 6 subjects as opposed to 10 or more. The change was announced during the Education Transformation Oversight Committee ETOC quarterly media briefing at the Office of the Prime Minister on Wednesday. Mahiri Stewart has that story.
Chairman of the Education Transformation Oversight Committee, ETOC, Dr. Adrian Stokes, announced the reduced subject load as he provided an update on the implementation of the Patterson Report.
Come this September, students who require academic assistance, as indicated by their Pathway 3 grouping, will do only 6 subjects in grade 7, instead of the multiple subjects some are currently undertaking. These students will be taken through a more targeted program to ensure they are better equipped to pursue a successful secondary school life. It's a very important development.
The Chief Education Officer, Terry-Ann Thomas-Gale, says the ministry will use its curriculum instruction and assessment roadmap to determine which students need the reduced subject load. That roadmap outlines the ministry's pathway policy, which speaks to the customization of the curriculum based on where the students are.
When our students who are on Pathway 3, they improve, they are given additional work so as to move them from Pathway 3 onto Pathway 2 or 1. And so what we're doing this year, it's not really new. It is really management of the policy, customizing the policy, packaging it in workable ways for our school leaders and for the education system.
And Education Minister Dr. Dana Morris-Dixon says the measure is being implemented to help the students who struggled with literacy at the secondary level.
We recognize that there are already children who are leaving primary school who may not be at the level of literacy that they need to be in order to learn in a high school setting. And so the change is being made to add more flexibility, to reduce the number of subjects are extremely important. And so we have said to the principals, flexibility is yours. And so if you feel there is a way to do it, talk to us at the ministry. But we're also saying to our schools, if you need to, cut the curriculum. You don't need to do all those subjects.
Mahiri Stewart for Nationwide News.
Meanwhile, Minister Morris Dixon says some adjustments will be made to the Grade 6 primary exit profile exams in order to better gauge the literacy and numeracy level of the students entering high school.
PEP is not a test of numeracy and literacy. You cannot assume that a child that is not proficient in language arts is not literate. That's not what the language arts test is testing. And so we'll add some questions to the language arts paper at grade 6 just to test where we are with literacy across the country. And that will need no more work. So teachers don't need to do any extra classes, no new books need to be bought. We're just gonna test where children are, just add some questions to the language arts paper. That's just a pure test of literacy. And then for numeracy, we'll do the same thing with the mathematics paper. And so that's how we're going to be able to actually benchmark where we are in terms of numeracy and literacy.
Senator Dr. Dana Morris Dixon, Minister of Education.
Water restrictions for individuals served by the Constant Spring Water Network take effect today, Wednesday. The restrictions are a result of ongoing drought conditions and declining storage levels at the Mona Reservoir and the Hermitage Dam. As at July 22, storage levels at the Mona Reservoir have declined to 42.3% and the Hermitage Dam to 52.8%. Under the new regulations, water will be provided on a 12-hour schedule. This means that residents served by the upper section of the Constant Spring Network will be supplied from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. Those areas include Dehaney Park, Patrick City, Malines Gardens, Mannings Hill Road, Meadowbrook, and Grants Pen. Starting Thursday, customers served by the lower section of the network will face restrictions from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. These areas include Constant Spring Road, Halfway Tree, Richmond Park, Kencott, Maxfield Park, and Coburn Gardens. The NWC says the restrictions are necessary to preserve the limited supply of water until rain conditions improve in the September to October period.
Deputy Managing Director of the Water Resources Authority, WRA, Jeffrey Marshall, says most of the wells drilled in Kingston and St. Andrew show high nitrate levels due to their exposure to soakaway pits. His comments come as the National Water Commission, NWC, says it's constrained to drill more wells in the corporate area to top up available supplies due to the high level of nitrate present in groundwater reserves. Mr. Marshall spoke with our news centre on Wednesday.
The Ligani Aquifer in Kingston, or the alluvium aquifer that underlies Kingston and St. Andrew, historically has been impacted by sewage pits. But where the most of the sewage disposal historically had been soakaway pits. So that accumulation of soakaway pits what's led to the high levels of nitrate in the alluvium aquifer underlying Kingston and St. Andrew, and that's across most of the aquifer. So in terms of how many nitrate comprised wells are there, most of the wells that are drilled in the Kingston aquifer will show some levels of elevated nitrates.
With the country now battling drought conditions expected to last until October, the need for additional water supply is a major concern. In response, the NWC has made several operational adjustments. These include the recommissioning of 3 wells in the corporate area. NWC has labeled the Ligani Plains as a space heavily populated with single and multi-family dwellings as one area where well water is unfit for use due to high levels of nitrate. But Marshall noted that the water can be used if treated.
So the water in that sense would not be usable in its raw state. If you're going to use it, you'd have to pump and treat. And there are many abstractors who pump and treat the water so that they can be used. So it's not that where water can't be used, you just need to treat it by reverse osmosis or other ways to remove the nitrate levels that are there. I am not aware of much similar nitrate impacted wells in other parishes. The main impact has been in the Kingston and St. Andrew region, although the impacts of soakaway pits and primary sewage treatment have been seen in local conditions across the island, and that's why more times we recommend highly that sewage be treated to the tertiary level rather than primary soakaway pit levels.
Jeffrey Marshall, Deputy Managing Director of Water Resources Authority. You're listening to Nationwide News at 5. More news after these.
It's IQ Optical's sizzling summer sale. For this month only, get 50% off lenses when you purchase a frame. Kids get free lenses with a purchase of a frame. Make the intelligent choice with IQ Optical. Conditions apply. The time by IQ Optical is
15 minutes after 5.
Rentokil Initial offers air purification solutions with triple filtration and unique auto-sensing capabilities that neutralizes malodor and replaces it with clean air. Call Rentokil Initial at 926-4236 for more details.
The temperature by Rentokil is...
It's 31 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 29 in Montego Bay.
If a hurricane mash up your house tomorrow, would your insurance fully cover it? Many Jamaicans are underinsured and don't even know it. One hurricane, and they could be paying millions out of pocket. BCIC's free property valuation tool is here to help everyone update their home's rebuilding cost. Plus, when you update your sum insured with BCIC, you'll get $5 million in free contents insurance and up to 12 months to pay. Visit bciconline.com.
Continuing the news, a man believed to be a violence producer succumbed to injuries sustained in an alleged confrontation with the police on Wednesday. He has been identified as Steve Elliott, otherwise called Gully Bop. The police say a team was carrying out a search in Red Hills, St. Andrew for Elliott sometime after 3 a.m. On arrival at a location, the lawmen say they were engaged by Elliott in a shootout. He was shot and injured. He died on arrival at hospital. The police say a rifle with a magazine and 3 cartridges were taken from him. The deadly confrontation now brings to 186 the number of people killed by the security forces since the start of the year. That's according to the Independent Commission of Investigations, INDECOM. The figure is 103 more than the 83 killed up to July 21 last year. So far, 24 have been reported in June alone. This is compared to the 15 killed by the police in July 2024.
The police say they've seized an additional firearm following Monday's foiled murder plot on Jackshill Road in St. Andrew. This brings the total number of weapons seized in the ongoing investigation to 5. The gun, a 6-auer 9mm pistol, was found with 15 rounds of ammunition in a second operation on Tuesday between 2:30 p.m. and 3:30 p.m. on Jackshill Road. On Monday, an alleged confrontation ensued between the police and armed men who were reportedly contracted to carry out a murder. The confrontation resulted in 5 men being fatally shot and the initial seizure of 4 firearms. A 6th man managed to escape from the scene. The police are renewing their appeal for Courtney Ashley, also known as Bloodstain, to report to the Counter-Terrorism and Organized Crime Investigations Branch, CTOC. Anyone with information regarding the whereabouts of Courtney Ashley or any details that could assist the police with their investigation is urged to contact CTOC at 876-967-1389, Crime Stop at 311, the National Intelligence Bureau at 811, or the nearest police station.
3 persons are dead following a collision on the Queens Highway in Discovery Bay, St. Anne on Wednesday. The incident took place sometime after 11:15 a.m. It involved a Mitsubishi Outlander and a public passenger vehicle. 2 women and a man died at the scene. 2 of the victims have so far been identified. They are Georgia Johnson and Kling Carthy. 1 other deceased female has not yet been identified. 7 other persons, including 2 toddlers, were rushed to hospital. This incident brings the total to 219 persons who have died on the island's motorways since the start of the year.
World in a Minute is brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. Hose assembly and supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology, and integrity.
The World in a Minute. 3 Haitian police officers and 2 civilians were killed in the central region of Haiti where gang violence has surged. The government and a police union confirmed the deaths on Wednesday. The officers were members of a specialized unit known as UDMO, which is largely activated during protests and disturbances. According to the Associated Press, a video shared on social media shows gunmen dragging the bodies of at least 2 officers near a burning armored vehicle as heavy gunfire fills the air. A local police union says 2 brave citizens fighting alongside the slain officers were also killed. It has called on the government to better protect police as it warned they were preparing to revolt. Haiti's Transitional Presidential Council says the government is mobilizing all necessary resources to investigate the killings and honor the memory of those slain.
More than 100 international aid organizations and human rights groups are warning of mass starvation in Gaza and pressing for governments to take action. Doctors Without Borders, Save the Children, and Oxfam are among the signatories of a joint statement that says their colleagues and the people they serve are wasting away. Israel, which controls the entry of all supplies into the territory, has rejected the organization's statement and accused them of serving the propaganda of Hamas. Their warning came as Gaza's Hamas-run health ministry said another 10 Palestinians had died as a result of malnutrition in the last 24 hours.
A U.S. judge has denied a bid to unseal grand jury material from the investigation into disgraced pedophile financer Jeffrey Epstein. The decision came as the Wall Street Journal published a story alleging President Donald Trump is among hundreds whose names appear in documents related to the Epstein investigation. The judge says the release of such documents would violate Florida law. A White House spokesman called the report nothing more than a continuation of fake news stories. Trump has faced sustained pressure, including from some of his most loyal supporters, for more transparency in the case. As pressure mounted, Trump had directed Attorney General Pam Bondi to release all grand jury materials.
World in a Minute was brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. Hose assembly and supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology, and integrity.
Recapping the top stories making nationwide news at this hour, blood like rice grain.
Witness in the murder trial of Constable Noel Maitland recounts washing blood from seeping from a settee brought to a Kingston car wash in July 2022.
Students entering grade 7 who are struggling will have a reduced subject load of 6. I'm Robianne Williams.
And I'm Mahiri Stewart.
You can find the news on our website at nationwideradiojm.com and on the Nationwide app available on Google Play and the App Store. News next, the headlines at 6.
For over 30 years, Chris and Charles has been financing your goals, dreams, creating your great moments. Celebrate the occasion with us. Borrow $1 million, pay less than $25,000 monthly, and get 30% off your processing fees. No guarantor needed. Call 876-920-4189 or WhatsApp 876-838-9028. Conditions apply. When you think loans, think Chris and Charles.
Don't fall victim to deepfakes.
Watch out.
Protect yourself.
What is the
For more
TV?
information, visit broadcastingcommission.org or
Here,
scan
baby.
the QR code on screen.
Deepfake. No deepfake can't catch me.
Junior, you know say AI can make something will look and sound just like you? One day Junior get a voice note from her granny. Say the food done, the medication done, and she need money urgently.
Need money urgently? But Miss Pat no like ask people for things.
And as so comes, Judy get suspicious.
So what she do?
She asks the neighbor figure check pan her. Junior, the lady quite alright over there make her Sunday dinner.
So the voice note a deepfake?
Yes, my love. Come, your food ready.
Right now it look like we have to outsmart the AI. But wait. I really want dege dumpling here, give me.
Me I wonder if AI can make one deep fake dumpling for you.
To learn more about deepfakes, visit www.broadcastingcommission.org.
Sports at 5 is brought to you by Total Tools. Total Tools, every tool, every trade.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Sports here on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Wayne Walker. National Women's 200 meters champion Ashanti Moore has booked her ticket to the World Athletics Championships in Tokyo, Japan, after securing the qualifying standard. Moore posted a lifetime best 22.40 seconds to win the event at a meet in Eisenstadt, Austria on Wednesday, well clear of the 22.57 seconds she needed to secure her spot in the Japanese capital in September. The former Hydel High School standout became national champion for the first time in June when she crossed the line first at the National Stadium in 22.66 seconds at the championships. Her first attempt at making the qualifying time fell apart at the London Diamond League meeting this past weekend when she finished the 7th in 22.86 seconds. Candice McLeod, better known as a quarter miler, finished the second behind Moore in Austria in 23.73. National 200 meters champion Brian Lavelle won the men's 100 meters in a new meet record 9.82 seconds, while Kadrian Golson provided the third Jamaican win at the meet with a victory in the 200 meters in a new meet record 20.32 seconds, ahead of the another Jamaican Delano Kennedy, second in a new lifetime best 20.70. Adele Tracy clocked 2 minutes 01.29 seconds for third in the women's 800 meters. India made a rousing start to the fourth cricket test against England in Manchester. At close of play on day one, the visitors were 264 for 4 after being sent to bat. Sai Sudarshan made 61 and put on 94 for the first wicket, with Yashasvi Jaiswal, who weighed in with 58. Also scoring well was K.L. Rahul, who made 46, while Rishabh Pant retired hurt when he was on 37. Captain Ben Stokes has so far taken 2 wickets. Chris Wokes and Liam Dawson bagged the other 2. Antiguan-based cricket analyst Vernon Springer says the signs are ominous for West Indies cricket given the current trajectory. The twice world champions are trailing Australia 2-0 in their 5-match T20 series, and this on the back of the embarrassing Test series loss. Springer says it could get worse still.
It's going to be a long road ahead. The next 18 months, if we think that we saw the lowest point at 27, we could maybe get lower than 27. So we have to prepare ourselves.
Springer has also bemoaning the depths to which the team's fielding has fallen.
We've just been poor in the field for a very long time. We saw in the series against Australia where we just dropped a number of catches. Our bowlers can hold their own. But for some particular reason, West Indian fielders are, both in the male and the female, we forgot how to field. And we've got better fields now. So it means that the fundamentals, guys just not watching the ball long enough.
Vernon Springer, regional cricket analyst. The series will now shift to St. Kitts for the remaining 3 fixtures. The match at number 3, slated to get going on Friday at 6 p.m. Jamaica time. The world's top women's football player, Aitana Bonmati, produced a moment of brilliance on Wednesday to steer the world champion Spain into the European Women's Championship final. Bonmati, the back-to-back female Ballon d'Or winner, scored from a tight angle with 5 minutes left in extra time as España defeated a dogged Deutschland 1-0 in the second semi-final in Switzerland today.
Lovely turn, Bonmati into the area, cuts it across right foot, and there's the goal! That is the opening goal in the 112th minute, and it's come the way of Spain, and it's come from their talisman, Aitana Bonmati, the little midfielder.
A little midfielder from Barcelona, and Spain will now go on to face England in Sunday's final, and that final will be a repeat of the World Cup final in Australia a year or so ago, and the Spaniards are really on the roll at the moment. Champions Arnett Gardens, they'll travel to Trinidad and Tobago on Friday for the 2025 CFU Club Shield. The tournament runs from July 26 to August 3. Arnett are drawn in Group D alongside their club Francis Kane of Martinique's College International from the Cayman Islands, Dublin of Dominica, Docks United out of Anguilla, and the AC Port of Spain from Trinidad and Tobago. Philip Williams' coach unit opened their campaign against Dublin at the Atterbolden Stadium on July 27. Williams says the team is ready.
Yeah, preparation has been going on great. We started a bit late, but with the eagerness and the commitment from the guys, we have made up for last time, and we are where we want to be right now. We are very confident, and in terms of what we have been doing in the session, our confidence comes from our preparation. And having scouted the opponent, I don't see why we wouldn't advance. I mean, quality is here, and we have a good crop of youngsters, and they are rearing to make their mark. So definitely we're looking to come out of the group stage and go as far as possible in this year's competition.
And he says the team will not be looking for any easy ride.
Our mobility, the way we move the ball, definitely should give them some amount of trouble, and that is something that we're looking to use to our advantage without giving too much away in terms of our tactics, in terms of how we're going to go about being mobile and our movement. We're looking to start off good. We want to use it as a platform to set our momentum going into our local league, and so definitely we're looking forward to doing great. Albeit we being a target and defending champion, we think we have the quality to defend our title and give a good showing of ourselves this year again.
That's Philip Williams, coach of Arnett Gardens. That Sports are going to be back with more at 6:05 this evening.
Sports at 5 was brought to you by Total Tools. Total Tools, every tool, every trade.
Cubby's Baby Wipes is ideal for your baby's delicate skin, infused with vitamin E and aloe vera, and available for home or on the go. The time by Cubby's Baby Wipes is
5:31.
From Kingston to the world, from Montego Bay to new adventures, and from Ocherias to endless possibilities. Wherever you're headed, we will proudly take you there. Jamaica's airport, your global gateway. The temperature brought to you by the Airports Authority of Jamaica is
31 degrees Celsius here in the nation's capital, Kingston. It's 30 in the western city, Montego Bay.
I use the Radar app to help source my seeds and also my seedlings.
Me run my farm as a business, so I use the app for weather forecast and crop planning.
When me need me extension officer, I just book a visit on the app. Quick time she reach.
We check pest alert every morning. Me now make her mash up my grub.
Real farmers, real support, real easy. Crop Radar and Farm Smarter. Get the mobile app on Android and iOS.
Is your money idling when it could be thriving? With CIBC Caribbean's fixed deposit offering, you can take charge of your cash. With 50,000 Jamaican to start, choose terms from 30 days to 2 years. Lock in your funds and enjoy premium rates guaranteed to grow your wealth. Whether you're eyeing short or long-term gains, our fixed deposit account puts you firmly in control of your money. Now is the time to open a CIBC fixed deposit account and start earning more today. CIBC, ambitions made real.
Enough power tool, big to small. Jack on my figure, dig the wall.
Our Total Tools.
We walk a figure, trim the lawn. We have everything your job demand.
Total Tools.
We rent them, sell them, and fix them. Also give Total Tools a call. When I say home improvement, landscape construction, or Total Tools are your option. Home improvement, landscape construction, Total Tools are your option. Total Tools, located at 102 Main Street, Ocherias, 34th Live Road, Kingston. And Lot C6 Jacksaw, Sentence Bay. Call us today.
Tune in to Nationwide at 5 from 6 to 8 p.m. for a town hall meeting on July 24 at the Mona School of Business Executive Lecture Theatre at the University of the West Indies, Mona. It's time for a first world, peaceful and wealthy Jamaica. No more empty promises. Join visionary Andrew Donahue and host George Davis and hear the unveiling of a bold path forward. New governance, a people-owned economy, a social credit system to fight crime, and first world cities in 7 years. Join us as we celebrate a first world, peaceful and wealthy Jamaica on Thursday, July 24 from 6 to 8 p.m. It's a town hall meeting at the Mona School of Business Executive Lecture Theatre at the University of the West Indies, Mona. Catch the live stream on Nationwide's YouTube channel at Nationwide 90 FM Live 2. All this and more only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by Andrew Donahue, a visionary dedicated to transforming Jamaica into a first world country.
Taboo topics,
Voyagings after dark,
riveting discussions,
celebrity news and interviews,
topics that are shunned by society,
and everything else in between.
Voyagings After Dark with Kareem Voyagings each and every Wednesday, 8 to 11 p.m.
Voyagings After Dark.
No topic is too taboo or hard to discuss. Come get your mind blown and your curiosity explored.
Voyagings After Dark.
The following is a paid announcement by the Jamaica Labour Party.
Our Jamaican family, the Jamaica Labour Party Choose Jamaica Juggernaut, rolls into East and West Portland for a festive gospel concert, workers' meeting and awards ceremony this Sunday, July 27th at the West Portland Constituency Office, 5 p.m. Come hear from the dynamic action duo, Darrell and Anne-Marie Vaz, along with Deputy Leader James Robertson, MPs Dr. Chris Stofton, Matthew Samuda, Floyd Green, Robert Morgan, Colonel Charles Jr., Dr. Michelle Charles, Senator Abka Fitzendi and others. Main address comes from Prime Minister and Party Leader, Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Holness. Yours truly, MP Carencia, will marshal the proceedings as we bombard mine, protect our children with bus after bus after bus after bus, and deliver messages of hope and prosperity. Glory in the highest. As the good book says, blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Shout to the Lord. East and West Portland, gospel concert, workers' meeting and awards ceremony this Sunday, July 27, West Portland Constituency Office, 5 p.m. Showers of blessing. See you there.
The proceeding was a paid announcement by the Jamaica Labour Party.
Cover Story is brought to you by Hyundai. Modern, premium, affordable vehicles.
Experience the joy of buying a brand new Hyundai without breaking the bank. Yes, buying a brand new car should never leave you broke. From stylish designs and safety features to comfortable driving and reliability, Hyundai is the choice. Hyundai vehicles come standard with 2 years free service and 5 years warranty and roadside assistance for your peace of mind. Drive 2 years without service cost and 5 years without fear of being stranded. Hyundai. Conditions apply.
Good afternoon, listeners and viewers. Welcome. It is 5:36 and time for the cover story. I'm Siobhan Campbell.
And my name is Sanjay Lewis. Good afternoon to you, Siobhan, and good afternoon to our listeners. Well, for the cover story this afternoon, the students entering grade 7 who are identified to be struggling will be allowed to do 6 subjects as opposed to 10 or more. The change was announced during the Education Transformation Oversight Committee, ETOC, quarterly media briefing at the Office of the Prime Minister on Wednesday. Chief Education Officer Terrian Thomas Gale says the ministry will use its curriculum, instruction, and assessment roadmap to determine which students meet the reduced subject load.
That roadmap, listeners, outlines the ministry's pathway policy, which speaks to customization of the curriculum based on where the students are.
When our students who are on Pathway 3, they improve, they are given additional work so as to move them from Pathway 3 onto Pathway 2 or 1. And so what we're doing this year, it's not really new. It is really management of the policy, customizing the policy, packaging it in workable ways for our school leaders and for the education system.
That's Terrian Thomas Gale, Chief Education Officer. Well, Education Minister Dr. Dana Morris-Dixon also says the measure is being implemented to help the students who struggled with literacy at the secondary level. And in the meantime, progress on the implementation of the Patterson Report has now reached 30%. This is a 7-point increase over the 23% that was completed for the previous quarter.
ETOC has been charged with monitoring the implementation of 365 recommendations contained in the Professor Orlando Patterson chaired Jamaica Education Transformation Commission report. The report was published in 2021. ETOC has split the recommendations into 3 categories: short, medium, and long term. Its chairman, Dr. Adrian Stokes, says 2 additional initiatives were finalized during the reporting period.
This brings to 17 the number of short-term recommendations that have been implemented, and Dr. Stokes joins us now to discuss further. Good afternoon, Dr. Stokes.
Hi, good afternoon.
It
Good
is
afternoon,
good
Dr.
to
Stokes.
hear from you, sir. So, just to start off, this recommendation to assist students who may be struggling heading into high school, reducing their load from 6 to 10, was that part of the Patterson report?
Yes, it was. The Patterson report generally calls for an improvement across the education sector. It calls for a number of measures to improve literacy and numeracy and the bolstering of teaching and also the training of teachers and specifically for individual learning needs to be identified and dealt with in a proactive manner. And the move by the Ministry of Education to place great attention around this area is welcome. You know, kids who are struggling at the primary school level, they have been moved to secondary schools. They are given 10, 11, 12 subjects while they are having issues with the core subjects. This is not going to be beneficial to these kids. And so it makes a lot of sense to lessen the load and to understand the learning challenges of these kids and for individual plans to be formulated and to have these kids muscle up in terms of their remedial needs so that they can have a good prognosis for the rest of their secondary school journey.
But help us to understand, Dr. Stokes, when those individual pathways are developed for the students, how are they tracked? Is it that they have specialized teachers who will assist them throughout their tenure at the high school level?
So that is the plan. We may need more resources and over time, more resources will be allocated based on budgetary needs. But certainly the key areas of literacy and numeracy are, will be given serious attention, right? We definitely need to have all of our kids operating at a level where they can take on the normal secondary school curriculum. So resources will be pumped. And in fact, I should say a lot of work is now taking place in the summer as it relates to timetabling, training of teachers, training of teachers, retrofitting schools, ensuring that the classrooms are there to ensure that September, these kids who are struggling will have an environment that is enabling, an environment that builds them up.
So what is the expectation, Dr. Stokes? Is it that they will stay on this pathway separate and apart from their peers, or is it that the intention at a later point in the secondary system, they will be reintegrated back into the normal stream?
The latter.
Okay.
So the hope is that by the end of the first year, they would have gained sufficient skills. They would have improved significantly to be able to, matriculate to pathway 2 and pathway 1.
Mm-hmm. I wonder though, Dr. Stokes, and I remember bringing up this question a couple of weeks ago, are we trying to fix the problem only at the high school level and not focusing on the primary level where there seems to be a gap?
Well, the greater focus is at the pre-primary and primary level. Mm-hmm. A lot of work is going on there. In fact, as I indicated just now, in terms of training, the curriculum, the specific timetabling of reading, a lot is happening at the pre-primary and primary level to ensure that the foundation is strong as it relates to kids being literate and numerate. Notwithstanding, we have to have a plan for kids who are at that age and are now or will be entering the high school system. So we have to tackle the problem at the various levels that the kids are at. at the primary level and also at the secondary level.
Hold it for us, Dr. Stokes. We are up on a break. Let's take this break and come back.
Clear your barrels and personal shipments with ease and convenience. Request a customs contactless clearance today through CCP at jca.gov.jm. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is...
It's 5:45.
We don't want to have a security force where people fear our police more than they fear gunmen. Every officer here, what they really want when they walk out in their community is that people say, I want my son to follow in your footsteps. They want respect, and they know they can't get that respect if people just fear them as how they fear criminals. So let us invest in building a security force that we can all be proud of. I want the security force that we are building to have ultimate and utmost respect for human rights. Let us make our JCF the force for good, the force to protect us. There were transgressions in the past. There are members of the force who they haven't got the memo yet, but I'm certain that the system that is in place in the JCF with the new leadership and command, that when officers violate, they will be dealt with. This is a world-class policing institution that we are building, one in which you can be proud and one that will be an example for the rest of the region.
The proceeding was brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister.
Experience the joy of buying a brand new Hyundai without breaking the bank. Yes, buying a brand new car should never leave you broke. From stylish designs and safety features to comfortable driving and reliability, Hyundai is the choice. Hyundai vehicles come standard with 2 years free service and 5 years warranty and roadside assistance for your peace of mind. Drive 2 years without service cost and 5 years without fear of being stranded. Hyundai. Conditions apply.
Welcome back, listeners and viewers. We are talking education transformation, and we're speaking with the gentleman, the chairman of the Education Transformation Oversight Committee, ETOC, Dr. Adrian Stokes. And Dr. Stokes, we're talking about the transformation of the education system on a whole. I know it's a marathon, not necessarily a sprint, but we are 30% along that path now based on the Patterson report. Where are the areas now where we've moved from that 23% up to 30% over the last year? Where has that improvement been seen?
Okay. Before I get to that, let me just finish a thought I was on before your break.
Go ahead.
As relates to dealing with the issues at the primary school level. And I want to talk about the recent tech performance. And if you look at the data, you will see that there has been a marked improvement in the quality of students who will enter our secondary school system in September. Now, when you go back to 2023, if you look at mathematics, for example, 26% of the kids were seen to be at the developing level. This has dropped to 3% at the last the PEP results for this year. A significant improvement. Very encouragingly, 56% of the grade 6 cohorts are now proficient in mathematics, compared to only 27% when these children were in grade 4. So we are seeing a significant shift upwards in terms of the quality of the PEP passes, and it's telling you that a lot of work is happening at the primary level. In terms of the progress rate for this period and where it's coming from, I will highlight a few areas. When you look at the work to modernize the ministry that is being done by the Mona School of Business, that moved from a 40% completion rate last reporting period to 60%. When you look at the work to improve the school governance framework, we have moved from 60 to 65%. The review of the Early Childhood Act and regulations, that moved from 25 to 27%. Importantly, the training, rationalizing the training and qualification for the early childhood sector, a lot of work has been done there. In fact, that initiative is now complete. In terms of the services to children with disabilities, to improve those services to kids and their families at the ECP level, we moved from 30 to 40%. So it's coming right across the various pillars. I think that's what Siobhan had asked the question.
Yes.
The number of significant milestones achieved over the previous period across all the various pillars of transformation.
One of the things that we sometimes recognize, Dr. Stokes, is there's often public skepticism about reports and oversight bodies with little follow through. What mechanism does ETOC have in place to ensure that there's accountability and transparency in this process?
Sorry, can you repeat the question, please?
No, man, say there's oftentimes public skepticism about reports and just general oversight bodies. How is it that ETOC is utilizing the various mechanisms just to ensure that there's accountability, there's transparency, and the reporting that you're producing is accurate?
Right. So at the start of the process, we were very careful to implement a project management environment. We were very clear in terms of decision rights, who's responsible for what, how data are collected and reported. And, one of the things that we're looking at now is the auditing of that data. That is something that we're yet to do, but that's something that we will do. The final process in terms of, looking at the veracity of the data that we're getting from the ministry and ministry officials. So far, we have no reason to be, concerned about the quality or the veracity of the data. But notwithstanding, as I indicated before, we will be looking at an audit process just to ensure that we can all sleep at night based on the quality of the data that we're getting.
I mean, ultimately, Dr. Stokes, the proof of the pudding is in the eating. Are you seeing these transformational changes, these implementations reflected in the overall achievements? I know it's still early days, but the overall achievements of the students as they go through the various grades?
It's still early days. We are seeing some improvements. I talked about the PET data just now. So that is something that is a significant milestone when you track this cohort that completed the PEP exam. When you look at where they were in 2023 relative to 2025 and in key areas like mathematics, right? If you look at mathematics, you see a marked improvement in terms of the performance. Science as well, we're seeing a marked improvement. We are awaiting the CSEC passes, specifically for math. A lot of work went into preparing the kids and putting in place measures to improve math education across the sector. And this year will be a good data point for us to assess the results of the work that has gone on so far in terms of math education.
Yeah, and it would be interesting to see the data, Dr. Stokes, because from I've been going to high school, math has been a significant problem, and we can't seem to move the numbers. It hovers a lot of times 30%, 40% at one point, and we can't seem to get higher. So the proof of the pudding now will be, as Siobhan indicated, with the eating, to really see the results and to see if what you and your team would have suggested through the ministry is actually working.
Yeah, we're trying to get it up to 50%, truth be told.
Mm-hmm.
So let's book an appointment from now for August when we have the results. and we can have a conversation about those results in math performance. So, I know persons are quietly confident that we will see an uplift, but the proof is in the eating. So let's wait until the end of August, and then let's book for a conversation then where we can have an empirical assessment of where we are with math education.
And that is important, and we look forward for that. I just have a follow-up, Siobhan. Well, not a follow-up, but I want to go back, Dr. Stokes, to the program that you're implementing for those students leaving the primary to the tertiary level. Is there, to the secondary level, is there a concern that those students may be stigmatized because they are not on the same pathways as the other students who would have left the primary level at a successful rate, that they don't have to be in any specialized program?
There's always that possibility, but we have great leaders at our schools, very strong principals, and I'm certain that they will put in place the necessary measures to manage any kind of negative implications that will arise from what is being done. So, not everything you'll be able to manage at a central level. And, that's why we have great people at the schools, and I'm pretty confident that they'll be able to manage the situation.
And just finally, Dr. Stokes, is there any aspect of that transformation that you feel is not getting the level of attention in terms of the government implementation that it deserves? Is there any particular area that you feel they need to kind of step it up on?
To be honest, and as I've said before, and I knock on wood, so far we have had significant commitment and support from the government, and specifically from the minister in charge. Minister Favour Williams was there. Minister Dr. Dixon is now there, and we have had significant support. All of the things that we have asked, we have been pushing very hard in terms of not just the quality of the implementation, but the speed of the implementation, and we have been receiving the support. Long may that last, but as we stand and as I talk to you today, we are getting the necessary support to do the work that we have to do.
Well, we'll definitely wait and see. But finally, for the parents, the educators, the students listening, Dr. Stokes, what should they expect to see next? What's on ETOC's radar for the next quarter? Outside of what you mentioned about, testing the data that is that you got from the ministry.
Right. Certainly, there is a huge focus on schools that are struggling historically, certainly over the last 5 years. And they're struggling for a number of reasons. Some, when we visit these schools, we have issues to deal with transportation, we have issues to deal with lunch, breakfast, and so on. And the ministry is making a significant push to close the gap in these critical areas. A lot is happening in terms of putting in place support for kids with breakfast, with lunch, and certainly with the transportation situation. So kids can rest assured that the work is being done. A lot is taking place to create that environment that is conducive to their learning. Ultimately, what we want are kids. We want our kids to be globally competitive. We want our kids to be able to attend an institution in Jamaica and be confident that when they leave, they can compete globally. That's our objective, and that's what we're working towards.
That's Dr. Adrian Stokes. He's the chairman of the Education Transformation Oversight Committee, ETOC. Thank you for joining us, Dr. Stokes, and all the best.
All the best.
No
Dr.
problem.
Stokes.
Take care, Jared.
Well, Siobhan, it seems as if the matter with the school bus or the bus system will be addressed. The minister say what? Bus after bus after bus?
Well, we can only hope because, as I said, transportation and nutritious meals are, I think, some of the top reasons why students fail to go to school in rural areas. So I hope those issues are addressed because every child deserves to learn. As the tagline says, every child can learn and every child must. Well, listeners, the headlines are next. Thank you for joining us.
Cover Story was brought to you by Hyundai. Modern, premium, affordable vehicles.
The time brought to you by Guardian Life. Live secure, live easy is
6 o'clock.
Nationwide headlines at 6.
Good evening with the headlines at 6. I'm Shalois Michael. Students entering grade 7 who are identified to be struggling will be allowed to do 6 subjects as opposed to 10 or more. Chairman of the Education Transformation Oversight Committee, ETOC, Dr. Adrian Stokes, announced the reduced subject load as he provided an update on the implementation of the Patterson Report.
Come this September, students who require academic assistance, as indicated by their Pathway 3 grouping, will do only 6 subjects in grade 7, instead of the multiple subjects some are currently undertaking. These students will be taken through a more targeted program to ensure they are better equipped to pursue a successful secondary school life. It's a very important development.
Dr. Adrian Stokes, chairman of ETOC. The Chief Education Officer, Terrian Thomas Gale, says the ministry will use its curriculum instruction and assessment roadmap to determine which students need the reduced subject load. That roadmap outlines the ministry's pathway policy, which speaks to customization of the curriculum based on where the students are.
When our students who are on Pathway 3, they improve, they are given additional work so as to move them from Pathway 3 onto Pathway 2 or 1. And so what we're doing this year, it's not really new. It is really management of the policy, customizing the policy, packaging it in workable ways for our school leaders and for the education system.
Terrian Thomas Gale, Chief Education Officer, and Education Minister Dr. Dana Morris-Dixon says the measure is being implemented to help the students who struggled with literacy at the secondary level.
We recognize that there are already children who are leaving primary school who may not be at the level of literacy that they need to be in order to learn in a high school setting. And so the change is being made to add more flexibility, to reduce the number of subjects are extremely important. And so we have said to the principals, flexibility is yours. And so if you feel there is a way to do it, talk to us at the ministry. But we're also saying to our schools, if you need to cut the curriculum, you don't need to do all those subjects.
Minister Morris-Dixon says some adjustments will also be made to the grade 6 primary exit profile exams in order to better gauge the literacy and numeracy level of the students entering high school.
PEP is not a test of numeracy and literacy. You cannot assume that a child that is not proficient in language arts is not literate. That's not what the language arts test is testing. And so we'll add some questions to the language arts paper at grade 6 just to test where we are with literacy across the country. And that will need no more work. So teachers don't need to do any extra classes. No new books need to be bought. We're just going to test where children are. Just add some questions to the language arts paper. That's just a pure test of literacy. And then for numeracy, we'll do the same thing with the mathematics paper. And so that's how we're going to be able to actually benchmark where we are in terms of numeracy and literacy.
Dr. Dana Morris Dixon, Minister of Education. Deputy Managing Director of the Water Resources Authority, WRA, Jeffrey Marshall, says most of the wells drilled in the Kingston and St. Andrew show high nitrate levels due to their exposure to soak-away pits. His comments come as the National Water Commission, NWC, says it's constrained to drill more wells in the corporate area to top up available supplies due to the high level of nitrate present in groundwater reserves. Mr. Marshall spoke with our news center on Wednesday.
The Ligani Aquifer in Kingston, or the alluvium aquifer that underlies Kingston and St. Andrew, historically has been impacted by sewage pits. But where the most of the sewage disposal historically had been soak-away pits. So that accumulation of soak-away pits what's led to the high levels of nitrate in the alluvium aquifer underlying Kingston and St. Andrew, and that's across most of the aquifer. So in terms of how many nitrate comprised wells are there, most of the wells that are drilled in the Kingston aquifer will show some levels of elevated nitrates.
With the country now battling drought conditions expected to last until October, the need for additional water supply is a major concern. In response, the NWC has made several operational adjustments. These include the recommissioning of 3 wells in the corporate area. Mr. Marshall says the water can be used if treated.
So the water in that sense would not be usable in its raw state. If you're going to use it, you'd have to pump and treat. And there are many abstractors who pump and treat the water so that they can be used. So it's not that where water can't be used, you just need to treat it via reverse osmosis or other ways to remove the nitrate levels that are there. I am not aware of much similar nitrate impacted wells in other parishes. The main impact has been in the Kingston and St. Andrew region, although the impacts of soak-away pits and primary sewage treatment have been seen in local conditions across the island, and that's why more times we recommend highly that sewage be treated to the tertiary level rather than primary soak-away pit levels.
Jeffrey Marshall, Deputy Managing Director of the Water Resources Authority. 3 persons are dead following a collision on the Queen's Highway in Discovery Bay, St. Anne on Wednesday. The incident occurred sometime around 11:15 a.m. It involved a Mitsubishi Outlander and a public passenger vehicle. 2 women and a man died at the scene. 7 other persons, including 2 toddlers, were rushed to hospital. Those were the headlines at 6. I'm Shaloy Smikle. Sports is next.
As we enter the peak of hurricane season, don't let downtime disrupt your business. Digicel Business offers secure cloud storage and Jamaica's only Tier 3 certified data center, built to withstand storms and safeguard your data. With 24/7 monitoring, local hosting, and 100% uptime, your operations stay protected no matter the weather. Prepare now, protect what matters. Call Digicel Business Solutions at 876-469-2677 or visit digicelbusiness.com. Digicel Business Solutions. Stay online, stay protected.
Plug into the sun with Peak Energy Solutions. We are your affordable provider for everything solar. Grid tie or off-grid solar P systems, solar air conditioners, panels, lithium batteries, solar supplies, and installation. Visit us at Shop 1, 3 Mosquito Valley Road, Red Hills, St. Andrew. Call 876-279-8820 or 944-0668. Or email us at peakenergysolutionsja@gmail.com. Peak Energy for everything solar.
Back to school doesn't have to break the bank. Swap instead of shop. Join Nationwide 90 FM at our Back to School Fair on Saturday, August 9 from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. at Harmony Beach Park in the western city of Montego Bay. Bring those books your kids no longer need and swap them for ones they do. Plus, enjoy fun activities, entertainment, and meet your favorite nationwide personalities. It's all happening in St. James on Saturday, August 9 from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. at Harmony Beach Park. See you there.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to Sports here on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Wayne Walker. National Women's 200 meters champion Ashanti Moore has booked her ticket to the World Athletics Championships in Tokyo, Japan, after securing the qualifying standard. Moore posted a lifetime best 22.40 seconds to win the event at a meet in Eisenstadt, Austria on Wednesday, well clear of the 22.57 seconds she needed to secure her spot in the Japanese capital in September. The former Hydel High School standout became the national champion for the first time in June when she crossed the line first at the national championships in 22.66. Her first attempt at making the qualifying time fell apart at the London Diamond League last weekend when she finished the 7th in 22.86. Candice McLeod, better known as a quarter miler, finished the second behind Moore in Austria in 23.73. National 200 meters champion Brian Lavelle won the men's 100 meters in a new meet record time, 9.82 seconds, while Kadrian Golson provided the third Jamaican win at the meet. Victory in the 200 meters in a new meet record, 20.32 seconds, and this ahead of another Jamaican, Delano Kennedy, second in the new lifetime best, 20.70. Adele Tracy clocked 2 minutes 01.29 seconds for third in the women's 800 meters. India made a rousing start to the fourth cricket test against England in Manchester. At close of play on day one, the visitors were 264 for 4 after being sent to bat. Sai Sudharsan made 61 and he put on 94 for the first wicket with Yashasvi Jaiswal, who weighed in with 58. Also scoring well was KL Rahul, 46, while Rishabh Pant retired hurt when he was on 37. Captain Ben Stokes has so far taken 2 wickets. Chris Wokes and Liam Dawson bagged the other 2. Antiguan-based cricket analyst Vernon Springer says the signs are ominous for West Indies cricket given the current trajectory. The twice world champions in T20 are trailing 2-0 in their 5-match series against the Australians, and this coming right after the embarrassing Test series loss. Springer says it could get worse still.
It's going to be a long road ahead, the next 18 months. If we think that we saw the lowest point at 27, we could maybe get lower than 27, so we have to prepare ourselves.
Springer is also bemoaning the depths to which the team's feeling has fallen.
We've just been poor in the field for a very long time. We saw in the series against Australia where we just dropped a number of catches. Our bowlers can hold their own. But for some particular reason, West Indian fielders are, both in the male and the female, we forgot how to field. And we've got better fields now. So it means that the fundamentals, guys just not watching the ball long enough.
Vernon Springer, regional cricket analyst. The series will now shift to St. Kitts for the remaining 3 matches. Their third game will be on Friday at 6 o'clock Jamaica time. The world's top women's football player, Aitana Bonmati, produced a moment of brilliance on Wednesday to steer the world champion Spain into the European Women's Championship final. Bonmati, the back-to-back female Ballon d'Or winner, scored from a tight angle with 5 minutes left in extra time as Spain beat a dogged Germany 1-0 in the second semi-final in Switzerland.
Lovely turn, Bonmati into the area, cuts it across right foot, and there's the goal! And it's the opening goal in the 112th minute! And it's come the way of Spain, and it's come from their talisman, Aitana Bonmati, the little midfielder.
Spain will now face the defending champions England in Sunday's final in a repeat of the World Cup final. President of Santos Football Club Carlton Spanner Dennis has paid tribute to one of the club's defensive stalwarts, Vernon Bell, who passed away this week. The former national player died in Ohio on Monday. He was 79. Dennis says Bell was a master reader of the game during his playing time. The former Santos player was also a title-winning coach, having won the CASAFA Major League and Premier League titles with Tivoli Gardens.
Well, Vernon was not tackler, but he read the game very well. And he, as a centre half, he was, what you call it, a player who has to read the game, win the ball, and build up play. So he was tactically a good player. Somebody who know the game and who read the game as a defender.
Bell, known for his tactical astuteness on the football field, also enjoyed a successful early career in cricket when he featured for Lucas. According to Dennis, outside of his playing and coaching days, Bell was a successful businessman and someone he characterizes as a gentleman.
Vernon Bell was a businessman, a business executive who worked with Neil Amato for a long time. He was really astute in his job. So, he was outside of football, astute businessman who run companies in Jamaica. He's a gentleman, gentleman.
Carlton Spanner Dennis. President of Jamaica Volleyball Association, Jackie Cohen, revealed that the country is more than prepared to host the inaugural Kosovo Volleyball Championship set for July 31 to August 3 at GC Foster College.
Anything that was supposed to have been done to the facility was done in 2024 when we hosted last year. So there was painting was done and some of the rooms were painted and mattresses changed and things like that. So we're pretty much good in terms of infrastructure.
3 overseas teams, Barbados, Suriname and Trinidad and Tobago, are scheduled to contest for medals in both male and female categories. The tournament will be played in a round-robin format with the top 2 teams in each category featuring in the final on the last day of action. Cohen says there's always a hype around coming to Jamaica to play against the national team.
Well, everybody's always excited about coming to Jamaica. The fact that this is an inaugural tournament, I think everyone is looking forward to it in terms of the development of volleyball and get a look at, the future of our athletes in terms of how they transition from this level to the next.
Jackie Cohen, president of the Jamaica Volleyball Association. Former assistant coach of the Sunshine Girls, Winston Nevers, believes the current trio of Shanice Beckford, Katie and Dehaney, and Janelle Fowler-Demard are in the conversation of best players in the world at their various positions. Nevers' comments follow the players representing the West Coast Fever, booking their spot in Sunday's final of the Australian Suncor League.
When you look at Fowler, world best shooter, nobody in the world can match her. Shanice Beckford, I say it all the while. Shanice Beckford, I think they underrate her a little. And now she gets her chance to shine, and she's doing extremely well. Katie and Dane is a quiet player, and she just shines whenever time she go on the big stage.
The veteran coach suggested that based on what he's seen, Jamaica's next crop of players are keeping a keen eye on what the senior players are doing, especially during their stint in the Suncor League, which is widely regarded as the best in the world.
Our remaining player out here, I definitely know they're talking about it, and they definitely know their intention is to play in that league as well. And they are motivated to take off on by Australia at some point in time.
Netball coach Winston Nevers. Finally, if you have some time, you can go on over to watch some basketball at the Excelsior High School court. The action getting underway. Well, it should have gotten underway just about 10 or so minutes ago. Harborview Supernovas, they're taking on Lincoln Athletics in the first game of a doubleheader in the GK1 Howard McCarthy Community League. So the opening game should be on the way at the minute. The second game will start right after the opening game, and that's home team Exeter Heat taking on the Nanaville Youth. And that will do it for sports.
For all your scales and food processing equipment, call Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited at 876-968-9612-5. The time by Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited is
18 minutes past 6.
As we enter the peak of hurricane season, don't let downtime disrupt your business. Digicel Business offers secure cloud storage and Jamaica's only Tier 3 certified data center, built to withstand storms and safeguard your data. With 24/7 monitoring, local hosting, and 100% uptime, your operations stay protected no matter the weather. Prepare now, protect what matters. Call Digicel Business Solutions at 876-469-2677 or visit digicelbusiness.com. Digicel Business Solutions. Stay online, stay protected.
Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, is a financial reporting firm that delivers accounting and compliance services on time, Call us today at 876-908-0486 to 7. Email us at clientservices@cocnjamaica.com or visit our website at www.cocnjamaica.com. COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology, and integrity.
Are you looking to drive sales and build brand visibility this summer? Be a vendor at the Nationwide 90 FM Back to School Fair on Saturday, August 9 at Harmony Beach Park, Montego Bay. Families from St. James, Hanover, Westmoreland, Trelawney, and St. Elizabeth will be out in full force. And you should be too. Call us at 876-630-1210 or email sales@nationwidenewsnetwork.com to secure your spot. Let's put your brand where it matters, on the ground.
Truth is, HIV affects everyone. Truth is, avoiding care leads to a weaker immune system. That means you could get really sick. The truth is, the hardest pill to swallow isn't the medication. It's the problems that follow when you don't take them. Let's get through this together. Remain in care. You can live life to the fullest with HIV. And that's the truth. A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Taboo topics,
riveting discussions,
celebrity news and interviews,
topics that are shunned by society,
and everything else in between. Boyatings After Dark with Kareem Boyatings each and every Wednesday, 8 to 11 p.m. Boyatings After Dark. No topic is too taboo or hard to discuss. Come get your mind blown and your curiosity explored. Boyatings After Dark.
Public Opinion is brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Good evening, and welcome to Public Opinion. I'm Roby Ann Williams. It's midweek. A special good evening to our friends over on our YouTube platform. Thank you so much for tuning in. We invite you to weigh in live in the comments section on today's Public Opinion. Now, over several weeks, months, we would have put it, maybe years, we've seen an increase in intelligence-led operations from the security forces, more specifically the police. We've seen where, for Crime Stop, there's been an increase in calls, an increase in people giving more information to the police. Yeah? So in Public Opinion this evening, we're asking, are you now more confident in sharing information with the police than you were 5 years ago? What do you make of the police force now? Are you confident in sharing, giving information to the police than you were 5 years ago? I'll start with the comments on our Facebook platform, where O'Neill Dennis is saying, yes, he's confident because the police have more resources. You can call their WhatsApp line and give information. And with this new commissioner, Dr. Kevin Blake, he's so professional. I'm more comfortable with sharing information. Philip Jackson is saying that we can't use a bad apple in a bunch and abandon the entire bunch. While we must recognize the spoiled apples, our interest must be on the normal nature of the other apples in the bunch, which are good. The police are more exhibiting better qualities of those good apples, more qualities of those good apples, rather. And he's saying he's super comfortable in sharing with the police. Becca Grant is saying, yes, more than ever. In my community, first time when they give police information, the police same one used to tell the residents them back. Wow. Oral Daly is saying he somewhat feels confident in sharing information with the police, and he is giving his reason. He says, I feel that there is a shift in the way the new police think and are being trained. I sense that they now understand and
live the mission of the JCF to serve and protect. Mark Anthony says he's 100% confident in sharing information with the police than he was 5 years ago. Andrew Thomas says yes. Marlon Scott also saying yes. Let me see. Ricardo Kilowatt is saying nope. And wow, he's calling out a corporal's name here that I will not divulge. Spoke about the marriage fraud scheme involving senior police officer and his goons called. Okay, wow. Yeah, so Richardo is saying that no, he's not confident in sharing information with the police, and I can't divulge. That sounds a little personal on air. Are you now more confident in sharing information with the police than you were 5 years ago? That's the question. Bree is saying yes, the police force have improved significantly. And Lorraine Young from our X platform also saying yes to our Instagrammers. Preston Bernard is saying yes. So too Robert Gregory Lewis saying yes. J3Ts, yes. Now I can say if I ever know anything, I'm going to talk. Yeah. Diamond Express is saying nope. I'd never be comfortable with police. And I suppose it's based on one's own experience with the police. We have varying views and we welcome them. This is, in fact, the court of public opinion. TS is saying, nah, not confident in sharing with the police. Chris is saying yes. Lethal Man saying it depends on the type of information, honestly. You know, he's willing to share, but it depends on the type of information. Willie Ryan Wilson saying, in all honesty, I'd say yes, they're doing enough to boost the confidence of civilians. Lake saying yes, but me no know nothing. If me no know nothing for talk, but me no know no. Oh, he's saying he no know nothing for talk, right? Saying willing for share, but he no know nothing for talk. Not right now. All right. York Rich is saying, is questioning, why would I ever be sharing information with the police? Well, York Rich, too, I would think to assist in their investigations. I don't know. If you know something, if you see something, say something. Sabrina is saying, yes, the police are more professional. No. Kirk Gregory is saying, yes, I would share information, but only to the commissioner of police. Him look trustworthy. I never know that people could have look trustworthy in a them day and age. But all right. Yes, Kirk is saying he's willing to share information only with the commissioner. Yeah. Jet Slate is saying, no, I will never be comfortable with sharing information with the police. And as I said, it's dependent on varying experiences that you, the people, may have with the police. In our public opinion question, we're asking, are you now more confident in sharing information with the police than you were 5 years ago? Let's see what our YouTubers are saying. David Nabar. Okay, let me start. Wow, Ralston Stewart. Him say him back broad. Him back broad. Him say me a informer from a long time. I don't know. Maybe the informer culture has died down, you know. C. Hilton is saying the force is more effective. Just want them to follow the rules, serve, reassure, and protect. Yeah? David Dabar says he's confident. And Ralston say me a share long time. Long time me a share. Jake Queen says the JCF is doing a great job. Amos Jews, down at Jamaica, the citizens doing a better job. That is good. People need to do their part, so it seems like they are doing better. Yeah? Doris says, yes, confident, not even 5 years, too. Yeah? Wilbert says, yes, absolutely. Let me see if I can get in some more. Clash Camp is saying, how can we trust people who were trained to not trust us? It has been a long-standing sore point in the community policing strategy. Yeah? Miss Bone said, if I'm a family, yes, I will share information, but it has to be my family. Okay. Let me see if I can get in a few more. Dale Hay says, we now have the best police force in the Caribbean. Hands down, we have the best police force. Frank White said, now waste my 3 pints for share, nothing with no police. I use to see I'm blind here and there, Frank White. Caldon is saying 100 times. 100 times? Yes. He's confident. Anthony Williams is saying, still don't trust them. Petrona said, not me, Robian. Not me. Not me. For Juliet Sanchez is saying, anything me know, me I tell the police. Yeah? Anything women know, me I tell the popos. I'm going to tell the popos. Mona Smith says, yes, I am more confident in giving information to the police. I will need to be a proud informer whenever it becomes necessary. Okay. All right. Proud informer group over here. All right. Let me see if I can get in a few more. Easy Guys saying not everyone is comfortable sharing info with the police, and that is understandable. Like I said, it's based on your own experience. Omar Newell says not telling them anything. Yeah? Dale is saying he was in Jamaica a few months ago. These police officers are very professional, especially those at the airport. I always say it is dependent on the approach, For me, I think it is dependent on the approach. You have some people who love style police. Yeah, boy, a young boy. There's not really a level of respect for authority. Yes, he may be younger than you, but he's still in authority. And then you have some police who may very well style the people they could have been them father, them grandfather as yo boy. So it all depends on the approach. I don't know. That's my view. CB say it could be my family. I am telling. Barbara Ellington says, nope, I don't trust any human being. Reggaematic says communication is a part of the uniform. That is so indeed. Warren Osborne saying, I will always tell what I know. Everett, that should be you at Hugh, is saying, yes, 100% behind the Blues. Sonia Campbell is saying, yes. Yeah. Let me see. Leonard Seville, absolutely yes. I share any information I have with the police because anything happen is the same police they be calling. Yeah. Definitely. Master Jam saying yes, absolutely. Respect goes where it comes from, Clash Camp. I totally agree with you. And that's why I'm saying it's dependent on the approach most of the times. Yeah. Randolph Wright is saying, I would share info morning, noon, and night. Dwight Bonner said, only God me trust. Yeah. Now get me open my mouth. Only God me trust. C. Hilton says, yes, the styling works both ways. Respect works both ways as well. John Black said, me a big police informer long time. May I look for one of them who stone the bus. And I think, I don't know, does think about this. The police in recent times have increased rewards, have put out reward money, incentivizing things like guns. If you can say where this is, if you can bring in this person. I think there is some sort of, they've incentivized, I would say, people. They want to bring more people into fighting crime. I think there's that. And also they have tip lines now where you can anonymously call in, But I don't know. What do you feel? Are you confident in sharing information with the police? Barbara Ellington says police style people too. And that's what I'm saying. I do agree. Respect goes both ways. Sharon Forbes is saying, even though my son was a police officer, I never tell him nothing that I know because I'm afraid of police mouth. Okay, afraid of police mouth. Thank God him leave the force. And you have some police where them we tell you, themselves will tell you don't trust. Yeah. All right. On that note, thank you so much for getting the wrap-up signal. Thank you for participating in Public Opinion. The Business Report is up next.
Public Opinion was brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Drive the most exciting new vehicles in Jamaica. Schedule your 2024 Ford Ranger pickup or Ford Everest 7-seater SUV test drive now. Call or visit KIG today.
The time by KIG is
6:33.
Visit Marshall's Pharmacy, Greater Portmore, for all your prescription needs, gifts, personal care, household, and stationery items. The temperature by Marshall's Pharmacy, Greater Portmore is
31 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 29 out west in Montego Bay. Hello, good evening, and welcome to Nationwide's Business Report. I'm Robianne Williams. Tesla has said it will build cheaper cars and win approval for its self-driving software in Europe this year as it tries to revive its struggling business. Elon Musk's electric car firm told investors it had started first builds of a more affordable model in June while posting a slump in car deliveries and shrinking profits. The firm is struggling as it faces cuts to U.S. government support for electric cars, competition from Chinese car makers, and a brand hit from Musk's controversial political activities. Meanwhile, Tesla told investors U.S. tariff policy had cost it $300 million over the 3 months to June and warned of further pain in the months ahead. In the currency markets at the close of trading today, it cost 161 Jamaican dollars and 28 cents to buy $1 US, 217 Jamaican dollars and 77 cents to buy $1 British pound, and 118 Jamaican dollars and 72 cents to buy the Canadian dollar. That's the Business Report. I'm Robianne Williams. Good evening.
Is your money idling when it could be thriving? With CIBC Caribbean's fixed deposit offering, you can take charge of your cash. With 50,000 Jamaican to start, choose terms from 30 days to 2 years. Lock in your funds and enjoy premium rates guaranteed to grow your wealth. Whether you're eyeing short or long-term gains, our fixed deposit account puts you firmly in control of your money. Now is the time to open a CIBC fixed deposit account and start earning more today. CIBC, ambitions made real.
Are you ready to pursue undergraduate studies but you are unsure of what to study and where? Choose the internationally accredited University of the Commonwealth Caribbean UCC. We offer on-campus and online undergraduate programs in marketing, business administration, information technology, HR management, finance management, and more. Apply now at ucc.edu.jm or call 906-3000 or visit any of our campuses island-wide. UCC, fostering leadership and innovation.
Calling all businesses. Nationwide 90 FM's Back to School Fair is heading to Harmony Beach Park, Montego Bay on Saturday, August 9. And your brand should be there. With families from St. James, Hanover, Westmoreland, Trelawney, and St. Elizabeth expected to attend, it's the perfect chance to connect directly with back-to-school shoppers. Contact us at sales@nationwidenewsnetwork.com or call 876-630-1210 to book your vendor space today.
Getting ready for school is as easy as KB. Shop at Kingston Bookshop between July 14 to September 6, 2025 for your chance to win big in our back-to-school promotion. Spend just $5,000 before GCT, shop online or in-store, and you could win $150,000 in cash, an HP laptop, or a Samsung Galaxy Tab A9. It's back to school the easy way, only at KB. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act.
Ready for a refresh? The hottest sale of the summer is now on at Active Home Center. From now until Saturday, August 2nd, get up to 30% off selected living, dining, and bedroom furniture, plus enjoy up to 10% off lighting and fans to keep your home cool and bright. It's the summer to save big and upgrade every room. But hurry, these deals won't last. Active Home Center, more savings, more choices. Conditions apply.
The 4th Jamaica Summit of Excellence in Leadership and Business is happening July 23rd to 25th at the University of the Commonwealth Caribbean in Kingston. Billionaire investor Michael Lee Chin is opening it with a powerful keynote. Join 20-plus world-class speakers covering everything from business and investment to AI, mental health, women empowerment, and more. Delegates are flying in from around the world. Will you be in the room? Tickets are going fast. Grab yours now at eventbrite.ca. This isn't just a conference, it's a movement. Don't miss it. Visit JamaicaSummitOfExcellence.com.
Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited are authorized distributors of international brands ABB, Omron, STC, Festo, and Thomas & Bet. They supply programmable logic controllers, photoelectric and proximity sensors, contactors and soft starters, power supplies, variable frequency drives, and much more. Visit them at 24 Dunrobin Avenue, Kingston, or shop 32 Overton Plaza, 46 Union Street, Montego Bay, or visit their website cleasling.net. Cleasing Industrial Supplies for all your industrial automation and control solutions.
Why rush around town for back-to-school shopping? Nationwide 90 FM is making it easy at our back-to-school fair. Come get your child measured for uniforms, check their shoe size, and purchase essentials right there on the spot. St. James, Hanover, Westmoreland, Trelawney, St. Elizabeth. We've got everything in one place just for you. That's Saturday, August 9, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. at Harmony Beach Park, Montego Bay. The Nationwide 90 FM Back to School Fair.
The following is a paid announcement by the Jamaica Labour Party.
Northeast St. Anne, get ready for the Showdown Lime Hall in St. Anne's Bay Joint Divisional Conference this Thursday, 5 p.m. at the Stairtown Primary School. Come hear from Jamaica Labour Party Chairman Bobby Montague, House Member of Parliament, the Water Boss Matthew Smuda, Area Council Chairman Xavier Main, MPs Robert Morgan, Crystal Lee, Tova Hamilton, Senator Dr. Dana Morris Dixon, along with Councillors Dallas Dickinson, Michael Bell Navis, Ian Isaacs, and the Boss Lady for the Lime Hall Division, Geneva Gordon Bailey, this Thursday, 5 p.m. Stairtown Primary School Joint Divisional Conference, Lime Hall and St. Anne's Bay in a one go. Think smoother with Samuda, and we choose Jamaica. See you there.
The proceeding was a paid announcement by the Jamaica Labour Party.
Welcome back, listeners and viewers. It's 6:41. It is time for the nation's business. I'm Siobhan Campbell.
And my name is Sanjay Lewis. The National Water Commission, the NWC, says high levels of nitrate in groundwater sources have prevented it from drilling more wells to access vast reserves of water to alleviate drought conditions in Kingston and St. Andrew area. The country is currently experiencing drought conditions with which the NWC projects will linger until about October. Dana Davey reports.
In response to the drought conditions, the NWC has made several operational adjustments. These include the recommissioning of 3 wells in the corporate area. These are the Beverly Hills, Cavaliers, and Up Park Camp wells in St. Andrew. But the NWC says it's constrained to drill more wells in the corporate area to top up available supplies due to the high level of nitrate present in groundwater reserves. The acting corporate public relations manager at the NWC is Delana Williams.
One of the things is not that we don't have large underground volumes, where they're situated, and it's the quality of it. So the discussion about wastewater then comes to the fore, because we've also seen the reality of loss of water underground, but the Kingston area, for instance, the water quality for those wells is not great. Hence, we're not extracting from any of the wells, barring those 3 that I alluded to, and the Havendale, which is further north. A lot of the wells have high nitrate levels, which is one of the spin-offs of soak-away pit systems, or soak-away latrine.
Nitrate is a chemical compound of nitrogen and oxygen naturally found in air, soil, water, and some foods. While nitrates are beneficial in low concentrations, high levels, often from human activities, can pose health risks. Groundwater is contaminated by nitrates, which escape into the soil from soak-away pits connected to toilets. Williams identified the Ligoni Plains, a space heavily populated with single and multifamily dwellings, as one such area where the well water is unfit for use due to high levels of nitrate.
I don't think we have any that we can readily name. What we can recall is, where there have been bore taps, meaning real exploratory drill holes. Those have shown the significant volumes that you've mentioned, but without the quality that we're after. I believe on the Ligoni plain itself, a number of those exist, but to give you specific names would elude me just now.
Williams says the NWC continues to build out its central sewerage system to transition Jamaicans from absorption pits.
You can't presently treat them well enough to make them safe for human consumption. So our approach is that we are building out our central sewerage to allow persons to transition from soak-away systems. And perhaps in a decade or two, we can then look back at the quality of those and say, all right, this is at a level where Mother Nature has treated it, and we can now start extracting. It's a work in progress where KSA, which is one of the largest populations in a particular geographical area, the wells themselves are not fit for purpose. Other parishes, we've been able to find a balance between those. So St. Catherine, for instance, half of Portmore relies on well systems, while the other half utilizes the Rio Cobra.
Dana Davey for Nationwide News.
Thank you, Dana. And well, we're now going to speak with the Deputy Managing Director at the Water Resources Authority of Jamaica, Jeffrey Marshall, for further information. Good evening, Mr. Marshall.
Good evening.
It is good to hear from you. So you heard that report from Dana Davey regarding the concerns over the quality of the water available through the wells in the KSA. My question is, to what extent does the Water Resource Authority intercede to try and keep the population from contaminating these wells?
Well, the question you asked is, the RRA has responsibility for issuing permits for drilling wells and for any abstraction from wells. So coming from our license and abstraction process, that's how we would have the control, so to speak, and monitoring management of the abstraction from these wells. The contamination that was mentioned in the report is coming from historical contamination, as was stated before. So the idea of protection, RRA has conditions for the use of wells, and so precisely it's not that the wells themselves are contaminated or that people are using the wells to contaminate the aquifer. It's that the wells that were drilled, that have been drilled in the aquifer, are tapping from a water source that has been impacted by the nitrates. And also, just to clarify, the water quality, the high nitrates, limit the use of water in its raw state for abstraction, but it doesn't limit the use of the water for other purposes that would not be impacted by the high nitrate. For example, there are many wells that are used for irrigation, and that water is just pumped and used to irrigate green spaces, etc., and that's not a problem. Usually you will see a sign erected that says, this water is not potable, do not consume this water, otherwise from that the water is used there. And as I had said in the report earlier, many other industries pump this water and treat it using advanced treatment, reverse osmosis, etc., and use it for industrial, domestic, and food purposes. So it's not that the water can't be used, it's that there are limitations to its use based on its water quality.
We mentioned earlier the usage of historical data to guide the information that exists. But how is it that the Water Resources Authority, outside of the historical data, keep on track with the information regarding the nitrate level in different wells across the corporate area and Jamaica at large?
Well, one of the license conditions for all abstraction sources, wells or rivers, is that you're required to submit water quality data twice per year. And that's raw water quality data. So that data is built up in our database once person submits same. And so that's how we can keep track of the water quality and changes in water quality twice per year in the terms of how abstractors send in their water quality data as required. Additionally, we do have various projects, etc., where we're doing water quality monitoring, and we work in concert with other water quality monitoring agencies such as NEPA and Ministry of Health to have that data available for our records and tracking, as well as for the request of any person that may want it.
So the report suggests that NWC does not expect that water in the corporate area, at least in these particular areas, to be suitable for human usage in terms of the potability for a few decades at least. Is that the same findings at the WRA in terms of your tracking of the water quality, that it is improving at least, but there's still no possibility of it being utilized for at least a few decades?
Well, nitrate is a conservative contaminant, if you want to put it that way. So if there's nothing moving it out, it will pretty much sit there and not react too heavily with what's around it, in either the water or the aquifer material. So once there's more pumping out, you might see it's coming there in that sense because the water is being maybe flushed out by groundwater flow over a period of time. And pumping of the water may also encourage, remove the nitrates that you're pumping out. But the main issue is that not what you're taking out, but what's going in. As NWC said, if the sewerage of the city is improved, and that reduces the constant flow of contaminants that might be coming from soak-away pits. So if you close the pit, then the contaminant isn't leaching there anymore. So the time that it would take would be a factor both of how the groundwater is flowing through the aquifer in that period of time, but also of what's the contaminant coming in. Are there still sewage pits that are still contributing to the contamination, or have they all been removed, and thus there's no more inflow of the contaminant? So it's a very complex question that would require more study to answer specifically. But at the very least, it would take time to have all of those things both worked out and the input solution implemented, where you no longer have soak-away pits or primary sewage going into the aquifer.
But at least
Go ahead, Sanjay.
But at least a decade, Mr. Marshall, I would think that's a long time to fix the issue.
Well,
Why
considering that, if you're looking at the growth of Kingston and the fact that you're looking at least 50 years of input from the sewage treatments that were there before, because I'm not able to say specifically, but I would imagine that most of the housing developments from the early days of Kingston coming up were all primary sewage. And so you have that ongoing input, that historical input of sewage, and those kind of inputs are not going to be quickly remedied. The flow of groundwater is not rapid also. The groundwater flows are in the orders of meters per year at max, thereabouts. And if you're going to be looking at pumping and treating as well as the volume, it's going to take some time. So the period of time that was mentioned, it may sound long, but you're looking at the actual reality of how much contaminant or how much sewage has been placed in sewage pits and soak-away pits, for how long they've been going that way in sewage and soak-away pits, and from that, how long will it take to recover and to fix it. But again, the issue again is not that the water cannot be used, it's just that there's limitations on what it can be used for. And if there is interest in treating it, it can be pumped and treated and used for potable purposes, or used for the purposes which it can be in its current state, which might be limited but not nil, if I may put it that way.
But I want to ask you, Mr. Marshall, is this problem limited to the KSA as in the KMTR area, or are you finding that this is an issue that impacts other areas of the country in terms of the high concentration of individuals essentially leading to a contamination of groundwater?
The contamination that we're speaking about in the Ligoni Aquifer is based on that confluence of events of, one, historic soak-away pits, two, the high numbers of the high population that contribute to those pits, and three, the aquifer material that is alluvium, that is mostly sand, silt, and gravel that allows for that kind of movement and soaking away. So in Kingston, it's well documented in the Ligoni Aquifer. For other regions, it's not as impactful per se, or it might be more point source located for point source impact, because you might have more limestone aquifers. I know if you have a situation where persons are dumping sewage into sinkholes, you might have a similar issue, but then that would be limited more to the sinkholes and wherever the sinkholes might go. And then that might be a point person. So you wouldn't have multiple persons putting into a sinkhole. You might have a household here or a small community or something doing it like that. And so you have a limited impact there. There's a real impact. But with Kingston, you're looking at the size, the capital city with over 500,000 or more persons, and then growing even larger, almost to 800,000 more persons. And a lot of those sewage impacts is going into the aquifer in that way. So The Kingston is a textbook area for that. Other places there, you would not. I'm not aware of any other impact like that in the Kingston area elsewhere in the island. But it will be more point located as it relates to nitrate contamination from sewage.
Mm-hmm. And what are some of the safeguards that are being put in place just to ensure that new housing and the commercial developments that we're seeing, especially in the urban areas like Kingston and St. Andrew, they do not contribute further to the nitrate contamination in groundwater?
Well, coming from, if I may mention, for example, from KSAC and NEPA as the town planners, I know that all of Kingston has been declared a tertiary sewage treatment area. So developments that are coming up in this region now must either have tertiary treatment sewage where the effluent will be treated to a level that would allow safe disposal into the environment, or they're required to connect to central sewage to prevent that kind of sewage soak-away pit situation. So new developments are required to have that level of treatment where the impact of the sewage treatment is up to the tertiary level, and so you wouldn't have that so that ideally you wouldn't have that impact. The issue is the grandfathering, or the matter of how to deal with the primary sewage and soak-away pits that currently exist. And I'm sure NWC mentioned in the previous news report that they have been expanding sewerage connections. We've seen the constructions on the roads recently where they are creating more sewage connections to kind of reduce the impact or the existing sewage, primary sewage, soak-away pits connecting from that to the central sewage. So ideally, once all of Kingston is fully centralized with the sewage disposal, then you would ideally have no more input from the existing soak-away pits, and those can be further remedied, and can allow for better recovery.
I like the positiveness, but we've seen several breaches from many of these developers. What they have on paper, they actually have not done. The concern that, yes, on paper, they will say that they're going to do necessary treatment and ensure that the water is clean before they send it to any underground storage or whatever that exists. But the oversight, the policing, that would be NEPA's responsibility, correct?
That is
correct. Is it, or is it in the Kingston and St. Andrew area would be the KCMC?
It will be the responsibility of the planning authority, whether it's NEPA or KSAC or other municipal corporations across Ireland, depending on where you're located.
Mm-hmm. So you see the challenge that we have now, because we've seen several examples of not enough staff policing, be able to police these individuals to ensure that what they put on paper they're actually doing. That's a great concern, wouldn't you say?
It is a great concern.
Mm-hmm.
So, Mr. Marshall, exactly what kind of volume of water are we talking about in terms of if we were able to access it? Exactly how many gallons of water would that be in terms of satisfying the water requirements for the Kingston and St. Andrew region?
Well, I wouldn't be able to answer that offhand, but if you were to look at our master plan, which was produced in 2022, finalized and published, it's available on our website. That gives a general idea of water availability at time of writing for the Kingston metropolitan region and for the whole island, as a matter of fact. We're looking at projected water demand and water availability and ongoing in that sense. So you can take a look there. All your users can go to our website and download the master plan and see the inventory that's there for water resources. I will say that Kingston is a bit of a water stress area in the sense that the volume of water available within the city is usually not enough to support the city. That's why for most of the time you will see not just the wells that are there, but you'll see a lot of water coming from interbasin transfer. The Mona Reservoir taking water from outside of the city, coming from Hope River and Yalos River. The Hermitage taking water from Wagwater River, and then you see the water coming in from St. Catherine, the Cockpit Springs, I believe, as well as the upcoming content facility that's been constructed on the Rio Cobre. All of that is bringing water from outside to within Kingston, because the truth is that even if the water below in the aquifer right now were available for clean use, so the quality was sufficient, the volume of water would still be a challenge, would be tight for the volume of water that's within the aquifer right now. Because as I said, there are users of the water. There are many abstractors of the water within Kingston right now who are using it for irrigation, industrial purposes, etc. And so with those irrigators, with those usage, the volume of the aquifer, looking at the recharge and the flow, it's already a bit on a very balanced scale. So we're looking very carefully now at how new abstractions are allowed. And what NWC mentioned for those 3 wells that will be re-put into production possibly, those are historical wells, so they'll just be retaking water that they had been taken before. But the reality is that Kingston, as we are right now, does rely on water that's coming from other basins, and it's just a reality of the situation.
Interesting. And to what extent is the WRA involved in terms of the long-term planning of the country's water resource sustainability?
Well, the Water Resource Authority has the mandate for water resources monitoring, abstraction, allocation. So we're at the forefront of that. That's where the master plan comes in terms of creating that inventory of demand and resources that's available for all planners, whether it be the government, private investors, whoever, the whole nation, that resources available to guide, future plans, etc. We have our database available with the record of stream flow and groundwater levels across the island for different regions, so persons can get that data as well and use that information for their own planning purposes. We're available to take requests and to respond to questions and requests like now for anything that's dealing with water resource availability based on the data we have and what we can speak about based on what we've monitored or can project. So we have that mandate and responsibility, and we continue to serve in that way as best as possible with the resources that we have.
Mr. Marshall, does the WRA screen development proposals based on nitrate vulnerability mapping before approval or before approving new wells or construction permits?
The WRA contributes to the development approval process in a commentary fashion where we comment on developments that are sent to us by the various agencies, whether it's NEPA or a municipal corporation. Whatever we receive, we provide comments on to guide the decision that is made by those relevant authorities, whether it's NEPA or municipal corporation. So when it comes to the impact of development on water resources, we provide those comments on all developments that are sent to us. As it relates to the permission of drilling wells and abstraction, that's our responsibility, and we have a robust process in monitoring that process, monitoring well construction, refusing it where possible. Our board approves and refuses license based on the recommendations that our technical officers do. And so we are ready to show and speak about that process whenever it's available, when it deals directly with well drilling and impacts of abstraction or permission for abstraction.
Just to be clear, though, Mr. Marshall, you have no influence or any impact on things such as the catchment areas and catchment facilities and reservoirs used by the NWC. That is solely their remit, or do you have a actual ambit in that area?
Where the Water Resource Authority license all abstractors from NWC down to bottlers down to dam constructions. Anyone who's using water, whether it's a big user like NIC or NWC or a small user like someone who wants to drill a well for their farm, they have to get a license from the WRA. If you're taking water from a well or taking water from a spring, stream, or any natural source, what they do with the water afterwards is their responsibility. So the NWC would have licenses for abstraction from the different sources like the Negro River or the Hope River. But when it comes to going into the catchment and what the whole NWC does their distribution, that is the remit of NWC and not the WRA.
So you have an overall picture of how many catchment and reservoir facilities we have across the island, and, for example, how old they are in terms of how long they've been utilized by the country?
The NWC, as the managers of that, would be the person to really ask and get the specific information on that regard.
Understood. That's what I was trying to get at. Well, it is 7:03. Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Marshall. He is the deputy manager of the deputy managing director for the Water Resources Authority of Jamaica. He is Jeffrey Marshall. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Marshall.
You're most welcome, sir.
Well, listeners, after this, I believe it's the Watchman, and then we take your calls. The numbers are 630-937-124 and 618-8255.
truth is, you can live life to the fullest with HIV. This time signal is brought to you by the Ministry of Health and Wellness. The time is...
It's 7:03.
You want to win? Then just bet. Bet on the game, no stress, no sweat. And win big in the Wanna Bet Just Bet promotion. Spend $1,500 or more on one Just Bet ticket and complete the entry form at promotions.supremegames.com for your chance to win. Third place gets Beats by Dre. Second place gets an iPhone 15 and AirPods Pro. And first place gets a 65-inch TV and a soundbar. Promotion runs May 16 to July 20, 2025. Grand draw July 25, 2025. Authorized under Section 58. Free of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act.
The Watchman. Exploring issues shaping our society, government, and business. Provocative, unconventional. Dr. Henley Morgan is The Watchman.
Good evening. Jamaica's foreign policy response to American hegemonistic behavior. Mark Twain, the 18th century American writer, humorist, and essayist, left us many quotable quotes, like this one. I quote, "There is nothing to be learned from the second kick of a mule." End quote. The meaning should be clear even to a simpleton, but I will offer an explanation. Being kicked by a mule is so painful, it shouldn't take a second kick for one to learn a lifetime lesson. Never stand behind a mule when he is agitated. This time-worn idiom has particular significance for Jamaica in its current relationship with the Colossus to the north, the United States of America. With Donald Trump at the helm of government, the mule, America, is in a constant state of agitation. A prudent advice to a vulnerable, small island state like Jamaica is, mind the mule kick you. American hegemonistic behavior is the worst it has been at any time since the end of the Cold War. In just the first 6 months of Donald Trump's second term as president, Jamaica has been subjected to a unilateral 10% tariff on exports, threats of retaliation through imposition of further tariffs if the country seeks a better deal by joining the BRICS trading bloc, tax on remittances, pause on issuing student visas to check social media footprint of successful applicants, termination of foreign assistance by closing of the United States Agency for International Development, USAID, and repressive immigration policies that deny Jamaicans living in the U.S. due process. Jamaica's foreign policy response has been one of quiet acquiescence, agreeing by not opposing, even if not actively endorsing. This attitude of quote-unquote kissing up to the bully was on display during the recent visit to the island by U.S. Secretary General Marco Rubio. This is not a criticism of the government's foreign policy. In the 1970s, Michael Manley provoked the mule by openly courting Fidel Castro's communist Cuba. Jamaica still suffers the effects of American destabilization of the society and economy. Remembering this painful lesson, working behind the scene instead of picking a fight may be the most prudent approach to take in dealing with an errant and powerful nation on which we are overly dependent. For those of us who grew up hearing that the best way to deal with a schoolyard bully is to punch him in the nose, the current passive approach to foreign policy in dealing with American bullyism is a hard pill to swallow. think on these things.
Produced by Agency for Inner City Renewal, AIR, and recorded in the Jamming Studio Trenchtown, a breath of fresh air bringing change to the inner city.
Jamaica's poverty rate has dropped from 16.7% to 8.2%. As the government's economic program begins to pay off, our country is heading towards sustained growth. We are building Jamaica. The time by the office of the Prime Minister is...
It's 7:09, and as I said, we're taking your calls. The numbers are 630-937-124 and 618-8255.
Are you ready for something mega? Spend $6,500 or more before GCT. Drop your entry in the box and you can win a 2025 Hyundai Tucson. It's the Mega Wheels Tour promotion. April 5th to September 28th. Second prize, a $50,000 shopping spree every month for a year. Third prize, a $30,000 shopping spree every month for a year. Brought to you by Hyundai, Redstone, Heineken, True Milk, Rex, Walker's Wood, Downing, CPJ Daiquiri, and Carryburst. Choose concentrate. Only at Megamart. Locations island-wide. Megamart. Best value by far. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Rating Gaming and Lotteries Act.
Tune in to Nationwide at 5 from 6 to 8 p.m. for a town hall meeting on July 24 at the Mona School of Business Executive Lecture Theatre at the University of the West Indies, Mona. It's time for a first world, peaceful and wealthy Jamaica. No more empty promises. Join visionary Andrew Donahue and host George Davis and hear the unveiling of a bold path forward. New governance, a people-owned economy, a social credit system to fight crime, and first world cities in 7 years. Join us as we celebrate a first world, peaceful and wealthy Jamaica on Thursday, July 24 from 6 to 8 p.m. It's a town hall meeting at the Mona School of Business Executive Lecture Theatre at the University of the West Indies, Mona. Catch the live stream on Nationwide's YouTube channel at Nationwide 90 FM Live 2. All this and more only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by Andrew Donahue, a visionary dedicated to transforming Jamaica into a first world country.
Good evening, listeners. Welcome back. It is now the third and final hour, and we are taking your calls. Richie, good evening. How are you doing?
Hello, Richie.
Good evening, man. Sanjay, good evening.
How you do?
So good evening. Siobhan.
Yes, sir.
Last night I was talking to you and Cliff.
Yes.
You know, a call just come in and chip up my call.
Oh.
Just like that, you know. Everyone just called, come in, they call me, and it's like just wasn't hearing you guys anymore. But I'm going to continue to just finish what I heard Philip Forden saying. He ended by saying the reason by 100 and collection because of high electricity, which because our life and Jamaican people. But I'm going to tell him that whatever went wrong with JPS at that time, it was his fault. It was caused by him because he was the minister. What do you call the portfolio again? Energy and what?
Come again?
What do you call the portfolio for energy?
The current one or the historic one?
The historic one.
That portfolio had so many. I think at the time under Philip Paulwell, it was energy and telecommunications or something to that effect.
Yes.
Technology, science and technology. Ministry of Science and Technology, yes.
Mm-hmm. But the thing that he's saying about what happened that went wrong, which Mr. Vaz is trying to correct, he's the one that signed those contracts. So the thing that he's blaming Mr. Vaz for, is his fault.
You know, Richie, I've long said it, because when I heard Mr. Paulwell speaking as if he had nothing at all to do with the license that the JPS currently has. I mean, history, I'm happy history is there, and we have the internet, can research and find the information. That's all I will say.
I do find it interesting. He's done his level best to try and distance himself from that aspect of his portfolio and keyed in on his successes, rightful successes in terms of bringing a liberalization of the telecommunications market. But I see where he has attempted to distance himself from the energy portfolio.
Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am. But I mean, that's the only political part, The main reason for what caused hard life I know so much because that dual system, man, Mr. That's the leader party. He was the main advisor of PJ Patton. Peter Bunty was the deputy, and they destroyed the economy. They think that the economy do everything that is bad. And called dollar to run away, dollar reach $160 to one. So that is the main thing that caused hard life on us now. So when he's going to play politics, about the play politics, he can't run. How they keep doing, try to dance around the truth and then dance.
Richie, the adherents of that period of time seem to be of the belief that they saved the country from ruin because of that matter of FinSAC. I take a completely different view of that matter, because all I think they did was kick the can down the road. So rather than them paying the price of recklessness at that period in time, it has been up to the country to pay for that price of recklessness over the last 30 years. And I don't know why they seem to think that the burdens of the father must be passed to the son in perpetuity, which is what they did.
Exactly. And you know what is my problem, brethren? After they did what they did to the country, those evil things that, what people commit suicide, the country went down to a point where if Bruce Golden and the JLP didn't rescue the country from them, this country would reach to a stage where which country was paying millions of dollars for it again? Which country?
I wouldn't necessarily go so far though, because on the flip side, and people always come from me with this one, and I will always say it, both political parties contributed to what we saw, the decline. And we also must commend both political parties for the adherence to the IMF deal. Started with Dr. Phillips. When Andrew Holness lost that election and he spoke about bitter medicine, Dr. Phillips came and started the process of the bitter medicine. And the JLP came, they took over, completed the process, and we're reaping the rewards of what both political parties had to endure. That's just the reality of it.
But the truth is, wouldn't you say Dr. Phillips did what he had to do?
Yes, and like in the past, like in the 70s, remember we had IMF deals in the 70s that we didn't follow through on. He followed through on. So regardless of what individuals may say that he had no choice, he could have decided not to follow.
No, but I'm not saying that he didn't do what was supposed to be done, But their ability, I listen even the PMP leader now at one point. He talk about, they sow the seed. They sow the seed and this government go on it. But it was Dr. Philip Hart to do, he was a part of the problem, As I keep saying, if a man, they pick it German yard. He was supposed to clean up his stuff. Dr. Philip did what he was supposed to do. Would you agree?
I will say that the challenges that we saw then, it was contributed by both political parties. Yes.
I'm not going to carry the JLP into it. No.
Oh, really?
No, but it is the PMP. Mark Gordon was the main advisor of PJ Patton and Peter Bunting was, and they destroyed the country to a point where gangs reach up to 350. When this government take office, remember, that was a pay 10% out of it.
I hear you, Richie, but are you suggesting, though, that the JLP administration at no point contributed to the country's spiraling debt? I don't know if that's a fair assessment.
Remember in 2011, with the IMF test, with Audley Shaw, the JLP failed the IMF test too, We must call a spade a spade. Yeah. So while and I'll be the first also to say that under Dr. Nigel Clark, the JLP did very well as a government. Yeah. And we are continuing to reap the benefits of it. But when I'm on air, wherever I am, on air or off air, I'm going to call a spade a spade. We can't point fingers at one political party.
But the truth is, when the JLP part, they wasn't the one who caused it at first. You have to blame the ones who caused it.
We can go to history back and forth to say who caused what and who caused what.
Yes.
But the thing is, what caused the problem at the fundamental... Richie, allow me, Richie. What caused the problem fundamentally back in there was the style of politics that we preached. That is what caused the problem. As to which party was more fiscally responsible or less fiscally responsible during that period of time, the country paid the price, and now we are getting out of that hole. Credit to the administrations over the last 50 years or so.
Sanjay.
That's Siobhan speaking.
Sanjay.
Yes, Siobhan was speaking though, but go ahead. Yes, Richie?
I guess we lost Richie.
Somebody call him again, yeah.
Papa Nana, good evening.
Good evening, gentle people. How are you?
What you do? I'm good.
Well, the good man for me here in Sanjay, man. My little son, I grew up good, man. I grew up good. He might learn well. Yes, man. I'm proud of you, Sanjay.
Thank you.
Yeah, both of you. Listen to me. Let me tell you something. You know, 99.9% of the PNP, they don't ears don't hear with them out, right?
I don't know where you get that statistic from. That's a very specific Papa Nana statistic.
99.9% of the PNP ears do not hear with them out. Let me tell you something, man. And you know me, you don't believe me, but me now go chat land because I want other people to get I say it too. Philip Palwell is only a mother, I can tell you the honest truth, would have liked that man. Philip Palwell makes so many mistakes. And if you notice how the PNP operate, they should call every one of them Eli. I am telling you. They should give every one of the PNP who is in politics right now, call them Eli. That man makes so many mistakes in this country that when he make the mistake, the Lord of the Ring, who is Mr. PJ Patterson, says
youthful exuberance. Youthful exuberance. I'll never forget that statement.
That man was a total disaster. Philip Palwell. He was a total disaster. And that is why you see sometimes I have to give and take with people from nationwide, because they tend sometimes to be a middle of the road type of person. Let me tell you the honest truth, right? They are a disastrous type of person. You match anyone of the government that took over before Andrew Holness and match what this Andrew Holness government has done for the people of Jamaica, and name one of them who was before him who has done what Andrew Holness has done. No, you take for instance, Andrew Holness government was the man who put the watchman who watches government school and staff. They put the sanitation people and staff. They put the cook and staff. Police is getting better pay. Teachers getting better pay. Right? I remember there was a gentleman who watched at Michael College for years. Him died now named Jocelyn Alliman. And when that man was leaving, is the student then there have to put up $1 and one plate and give. Right? And they and staff know. And when you don't know, me yesterday them on TV I come talk about them I come to go rescue Jamaica from what? Those people are economic. I wouldn't listen, let me tell you something. There are a lot of pirates who come off the sinking ship, that sinking Port Royal and land in Jamaica, you know. And we have to give thanks to Mr. Bruce Golding because they was not answerable to anybody. And they pilfered this country. Let me explain something to you. They pilfered this country and hide it in the four corners of the world.
Yeah, you know, one of the things...
come back here, come get another third pin sack or a second pin sack. That's all I have to say, sir.
Papa Nana, I know... Hold on there. I also want to say one thing. I know that you have been following the politics for a very long time. Yeah?
Yes, man.
And I have studied the politics and something that I love. One thing I will say about this current government, the JLP, is that there is a focus on a more strategic, connected approach to development. And there's a clear shift away from this long-standing handout culture where an election is coming, they throw the marl. I'm sure you see this before, years ago. When an election is close, the tractors come out, the marl come, and they spread the marl, and then election done, the tractors move, and you don't see anything happens after that. Yeah? So we're seeing a culture towards a model where policies, programs, investments are aligned and targeted. That is what a government should do. Yeah? And so things are now feeling more planned. It feels more integrated rather than a reactive piecemeal approach. Which is why I would say the government have to celebrate what them do, of course. I would celebrate if I was in government too.
Sanjay, let me tell you something. I doubt if your mother was in a sperm. I don't think your mother was born at that time. Your mother maybe was in a sperm, to be honest with you. I hope I'm not saying anything that is...
No. I'm sure you're getting to a point. Go ahead.
But let me tell you something. I remember when Douglas Graham was running against Mr. Vaz's father, right? Douglas Graham and Douglas Vaz. Douglas Graham came when I was living at Andrews Pen Lane. That is half Barbican Road, they call it Wackleton, right? And let me tell you something, in dig out one, I don't know how much mile a trench, and put in pipe in it before the election. And Almighty God coming like the man was saying was going to lose the election. The morning when we get up, every single pipe take out his and gone. In Senco take them up, right? So them not going to tell me PMP do not like people who can read and write properly. Them like people. That's why they ghettoize. That's why they ghettoize most of the place. That they can manipulate the hungry belly people them. Because when you're hungry and you have to depend on a man to give you a night dinner, you look upon him as God. And that is how the PMP operates.
But just generally, the politics of the 70s and the 80s, where politicians create this dependency, where people look to them, not only the PNP, but generally, they are the ones who are the saviors of the world. Yeah, the saviors of the country.
Why, Sanjay,
we have to move past that type of politics. Well, we have to the great extent.
Yes. Sanjay, one last thing now. You see the reason why I have to adapt you? Because you don't know what happened. Success has a lot of father, you know, but guess and tell me what happened. Failure is an orphan. You take care.
All the best.
Words to live by, I suppose. People seem to misunderstand when I say that I don't think any political party is blameless in terms of where the country's trajectory was over the 70s heading into the early 2000s. That's not to suggest that I'm saying that both parties are equally to blame. I'm sure if you did the statistic and fiscal analysis over the years, one party gets a greater level of blame than the other, because over that period of one party dominated much of the country's terms in government, and that was the People's National Party, ultimately. You cannot get around that simple fact. So I am not suggesting that, yes, somehow the JLP and the People's National Party are equally to be blamed in terms of they've equally contributed to the country's debt. That's not the case. No factual reporting would suggest that is the case. What I think we should now focus on is, given that the country is no longer restrained to the level that it was by the kind of fiscal mountain that we had to climb, which political party is suggesting to you, and this is for the Jamaican people to decide, which political party is giving you a message that you believe will keep the country on that trajectory and still satisfy your needs and expectations. I won't say wants, your needs and expectations over the next 4 years. That is the question you need to answer now when you're going to the ballot box.
Before we go to the next caller, Siobhan, I see Marcia James in the chat saying Sanjay keeps on saying it was under the PNP that the fiscal responsibility began. It's not true. It's under Bruce Golding, Audley, Don Webby, and the gentleman from the union that died. I think you're talking Derek, Dwight, oh God, his last name eludes me now. But okay, yes, I will accept that. But what I was talking about is specifically the IMF program. When Andrew Holness spoke about the bitter medicine, it was Peter Phillips who had to go back to the IMF, re-engage the IMF, and started that program, which was passed over to the JLP, that the JLP took. And I would say they completed a sprint with it, and now we're reaping the benefits. So I was speaking specifically about the IMF program, Marcia. I wasn't speaking generally about the fiscal responsibility that, yes, began prior to Dr. Peter Phillips becoming finance minister. Dwight Nelson is the name, Siobhan.
Yes. I can always count on chat to give us the proper understandings in terms of the historical context. As I said, our chat is very intellectual, very intelligent. They understand the politics, they understand the history. So I can always go to that.
You know, you make a mistake, they clap you quick, you know.
But I mean, I think the point at the end of the day is Jamaicans need to decide if the Holness administration, in their books, has done enough to keep the country on course. Not only that, but also to further their lives. And I think that's the ultimate question Jamaicans need to decide, because I don't think to date, and somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think to date that the People's National Party has done a credible enough job to say this is where we're going to push the country forward versus where the Andrew Holness administration has done. So it does become essentially a, what's the word I'm looking for here? A question as to, has the Holness administration satisfied the Jamaican people at this point?
Is a part of the challenge. And I remember having this discussion with Ricardo last year, about December. The misery index at that time was very high.
Yes.
And we had indicated that the government needs to go in those communities, find out the issues and start fixing those issues, which they have done, and we're seeing the changes in the poll findings. The challenge that I've had with the PNP, and I've been very consistent on this, what is the message? What are they selling to the Jamaican people? And they need to be very clear. Coming to me and telling me that time come. Time come for what? You can't just come and say time come. Time come for what? And we need to know. Be very clear in the messaging. Yeah,
but that's the thing. They're feeding into the same message, They're feeding into the message that it has become a referendum on the Jamaica Labour Party rather than an election between two political parties.
Yes.
So it is going to become a question, whenever that date is called, will the Holness administration be able to answer to that referendum that has now been imposed on them and give them a third term in office?
And the other thing too, Siobhan, and know they chat, they're gonna hit me for this one. The Labourites are too confident about this third term. And time must be spent, and I've said before, to correct the misinformation that is in the public domain. The time that you're going to cuss people because they have a view on something, come with the facts. I've always said you can't dispute facts, Come with the facts. You can't be too confident about this third term, because we have seen before, remember, with that election with Andrew Holness and Portia Simpson Miller, the PNP was confident that they would have won that election. Yeah? And you saw what happened in February of that year.
Well, I don't think either party, I don't know the supporters, but I doubt either party right now is 100% certain in terms of their prospects. I'm sure they are making every effort to consolidate and to ensure that going into the election, they come out on top. So I don't think Labourites should hold comfort that it's some easy victory, because I know for a fact the People's National Party is not under any illusions that it's going to be some kind of easy victory heading into the next term. But Errol, I understand you're on the line?
Sanjay.
Yeah, Errol. What you do?
Ricardo. No.
Siobhan.
Well, if you mistake me for Ricardo, I'm in good company. That's fine.
Siobhan.
Go ahead.
And Sanjay.
Yes.
Unu was not around from the 70s to the 80s to the 90s. I know that.
Well, I can't say for the 80s and the 70s, but I was definitely around for the 90s.
Let me tell you something.
I'm happy that Errol thinks that I wasn't around in the 80s, but okay, go ahead.
Let me tell you something. Time change around now. It's different time now. Are they hearing me?
Yes, yes.
When Nigel Clark gave the government, the opposition and the ruling party MP them raise a pay, how much on the opposition side get the raise?
All of them.
14 of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
How much on the JLP side get the raise?
All of them. No, actually, not all of them. Not all of them, actually.
49 seat, right?
Yes.
So 48 get the Prime Minister never take it.
No, he didn't.
Right. So 48 and 14 take it.
Mm-hmm.
What did the opposition leader say I'm going to do it for more?
Donated to charity, I believe.
Donated to charity. Well, if you're listening, you have a woman up a Rima who calling for help. That is Mark Golding constituent. I know you hear that from where you up to this man to the Pan Cliff Rose program where a man from foreign call and give her 15 bag of cement and railway. Don't you hear that?
Yeah, I didn't listen this morning, so I didn't hear that one.
This man Mackenzie when who response to Rima donate something to her. Where is Mark Golding with the money when get people raised? They're going to donate. When do to the woman of Rima in a inconstituent? Tell me.
It will be good to know. And we have heard before politicians talk about giving the money to charity or giving whatever. We don't have any proof. We don't know.
Every that get the woman who that get for the money of your.
Not necessarily, no, though, Errol, because him can decide that him giving to a specific charity.
Listen me, no man. Listen me. This government is a far, far better government. You see, election have come now and the man, them not run with it. Them not dipping at the reserve like a Omar Davis run with it and spin out. When they win, they not no reserve. So you have to give credit to Andrew Holness. You hear that?
I hear you, sir.
So, them must only go yang. You know the yang bike?
I'm aware, yes.
The opposition, them is a set of yang. Marky J a yang. Dayton Campbell a yang. Damian Crawford. The whole of them, Peter Bunting, Ian, what do you want Westmoreland name?
Ian Hills.
Ian Hill has only to set a yang and make promise where they can't fulfill. We turn the people them in a either, but the people them go and let them a idiot. We make them turn them. If they ever win, dog, yam supper. Let me tell you that. You hear that?
I hear you.
I only to yang them, and if we leave the Prime Minister, because we are do good, and then can't stop third term. And
all right, Earl.
Nice, yeah.
All right. Siobhan, I just want to comment again because the chat is buzzing tonight, yeah? And I see some individuals saying, well, one person in particular saying that he's a Labourite, he's not overconfident. And it's not all Labourites. Not all the Labourites are like that. But I've seen individuals, and Ricardo and I had a conversation a couple of weeks ago, and individuals in the chat saying that we're talking rubbish and all of that thing. No one is disputing. Well, certainly I am not disputing that the country is in the best economic position it has been since I can ever recall, Siobhan, and you can correct me because you know the economics of it. And we are doing very well. However, you cannot, even with that, you cannot come and be overconfident about winning. You are on the right track, and if you're on the right track, then you now have to ensure that you're selling that message to those who are the uncommitted voters. And when you check, there are a number of individuals who will say they are still not sure which political party they will vote for, even if they will vote at all. We know that, and it's a challenge within the country.
I think Mr. Hughes said it best yesterday. If this were any other country where partisanship was not essentially the message of the day, where you have 40% of the electorate on either side who will vote for that side, regardless of the state of the economy, I think it would be a shoo-in for the Jamaica Labour Party. If the country was so minded in terms of to put partisanship aside, and just look at the facts on the ground in terms of crime rate falling,
of course,
the employment rate going to record highs, the economy on the right track, I think it would almost be a guarantee in any other country where partisanship and tribalism wasn't such a overarching principle. It would be a runaway election. But on that matter, you are now voting for a very small group of people, that 20 to 30% in the middle there, that you have to try to win over. And that is what makes it not a shoe-in for the Jamaica Labour Party.
And remember, historically, and we're seeing the data changing now, we know that the JLP had to depend heavily on the uncommitted voters to sway the election. The PNP for a very long time, they had the older set of individuals who will consistently
the loyal
vote for the
voting
PNP.
base.
Of course, I worked in polling stations before, years ago, where somebody come in and she say she'll vote for Manley. Yeah, because traditionally that's how they were grown, that's how they were indoctrinated. They don't want to know what is happening within the country. They just know that they're voting for the People's National Party, and the PNP for many years banked on that. As to how the data is switching now, it's going to be interesting to see.
Well, I think we have June on the line. Good evening.
Good evening, young guys. I need you guys to help me. I need help. Who is responsible for the Bank of Jamaica?
At this point in time, the Bank of Jamaica is responsible for the Bank of Jamaica.
It's not the governor?
Oh, that's what you mean, yes. The governor, overarchingly, yes, responsible for the Bank of Jamaica.
Okay. I'm so upset. I don't know what I get myself in. In 2019, I put 200,000 in NCB. Say I am buying shares. Don't know nothing about shares, just hear people talking about shares. And young guys, trust me, I put it there for investment. It's 5 years now or going 6 years, not sure, maybe 5 years. And the shares, the 200,000 gone to 33,000. Now I am blind, diabetes, sugar, pressure, diagnosed with stage 2 cancer, need money now. I don't know what to do. I don't know if somebody from Bank of Jamaica can assist me if I forgive my back 150,000 out of the 200,000. I really need help. Help. I don't know what to do. I want to start a little small thing on my veranda by doing little soap powder, little phone card, little tissue, those stuff, because I don't want to go in the juice. If I'm supposed to buy juice, like all the time is so hot, I have to get a food angler's permit, which I don't think I am blind, I could be able to get it. I don't know. I just need to try to help myself. The 200,000, I got it from NIS. I got some money from NIS for pension when I started it. And that's what I said, let me put down 200,000 out of this for later on. Didn't know that I would be diagnosed with cancer, with high blood pressure, with sugar. Trust me, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do.
When you say put it in NCB, you mean as in you invested it in NCB shares?
Right. Don't know nothing about shares, just hearing about shares and say I was going to try it.
And the stock, and you're saying the value, but the value of NCB stock haven't gone down at all. From how long ago
has actually,
but not significantly based on what she's saying, though, Siobhan.
It depends on the period of time when you put it.
From 2019, I put the 200,000 there, and now I heard that it is 33. Out of the 200,000, it's 33 leave there now. So I don't know.
But you see, part of the challenge with the stock market is the risk. You invest in something, you hope that it will turn a profit, but sometimes companies don't, and the stock loses value. And unfortunately, the value that you probably started with, you don't get that amount at the end when you decide to cash out those shares. It's the risk that is involved in the stock market. And unfortunately, the BOJ can't really do anything about it, because, it's part of the risk. It's like you go and buy a lot of ticket. Yeah? There's a risk of not winning.
Maybe NCB, because that's where I put the money in NCB shares. So I don't know if the person who take over NCB could just help me out. I know the stocks go down, but real bad. That is only 33 leave out of the 200,000. Oh my God. I don't know nothing about shares or whatever in NCB. I just hear people talking and saying I go and do it just for later on in life. But I didn't know that boy, this would really reach me.
Ma'am, I honestly, I think I have to agree with Sanjay on this, because there's always that risk when it comes to investment, and I don't know if there's any realistic way to expect that the Bank of Jamaica could intercede on this. I don't think so.
What about NCB, the person who is in charge of NCB?
I know, I mean, you could reach out to NCB for assistance, but I don't think they have any legal obligation to say, well, our stock price is this.
I know. Just seeking help. Just seeking help. Just help. I am just asking for help.
Well, I mean, I will do this for you, ma'am. You can give your details to our producer, stay on the line, give your details to producer. If there's anyone listening who is willing to help you in terms of trying to, I can't say recruit the stock, but get you on your feet and try to put you in a direction where you can, as you said, earn a little thing for yourself. We will see if they can reach out to us to give you that assistance. I think that's at most we can do. So please stay on the line and talk to our producer. Let her take your number. We'll see if somebody reaches out to us to see if they are willing to assist you. But it's unfortunate, but sometimes that is the situation with the stock market. It's really, there's not much the Bank of Jamaica can do. But please tell me, did you invest through a broker or did you invest?
NCB. I went into NCB and buy NCB stocks.
So as an NCB was the one who set up the thing for you?
Yes, I went into NCB.
Oh dear. Okay, I understand. As a please stay on the line. Please talk to our producer. She'll take your number. And if there's anybody listening willing to assist June in this matter, please reach out to us. Yes. Thank you for the call, June.
Somebody from NCB. Thank you so much. God bless.
Thank you, June. You see, Sharon, is part of the challenge when you invest in the stock market, because you have to also do your due diligence before you decide to invest in any stock and understand the risks that are involved. But it's funny because I'm looking, Siobhan, at the NCB stock, and the decline started in 2019, and she said that she invested in 2020, correct?
She said she invested in 2019, I believe.
Oh, it was 2019.
Yeah, but I mean, it tracks in terms of how much she said that she invested and how much the stock would have been valued at now, because it's coming from about a high of 190 to 32, 33 today. And it's just further proof, Sanjay, that these things have real implications for a lot of people's lives. And I don't know how to put it beyond that. The stock market is a risky business. And that's why sometimes if you are intending to get in there, please, listeners, viewers,
don't put your life savings.
Don't put your life savings. Only put up what you're willing to risk losing. And in that same vein, get some financial assistance. Speak to a broker and ask them to at least give you a managed portfolio with a certain level of risk expected, with a certain level of return also expected, because they will do the necessary management to ensure that all your eggs are not in one basket and everything, at least at the end of the day with market fluctuations, guarantees you a certain, not a large return, but it will guarantee you that you will stay in track with what you have, and you won't lose everything, as this unfortunate lady seems to have ended up in this situation.
You know, Siobhan, I was in high school when I invested in that very stock and just trying the stock market, three of us. You know how much we paid for that stock?
How much at the time?
$10.
Yeah, I mean, NCB really is quite an interesting story in terms of the ups and downs.
Yeah.
I mean, if you, for example, if you had invested in Microsoft or one of those companies when it started, now, even if it was a penny on the dollar, you would probably be a multimillionaire at this point in time.
Yeah. Sorry, I never invest more.
But I mean, I think let this really serve as a lesson to a lot of Jamaicans. When you're going into the stock market, go in there with your eyes open and realize there is a risk. There is no getting around it. There is a risk. Is there any more callers, Dana? Anybody else on the line? Who's that? Cleveland, good evening.
Yes, Siobhan and Sanjay.
How you doing?
Good evening. This is telling me that that's why maybe a lot of little people don't go into stock market because they don't understand it.
It can be overwhelming to the average person.
And there's a lot of teaching that we have to teach people because then a lot of people make a lot of money out of stock market.
Yes. Yeah. There is money to be made on the stock market, but as again, it's speculative. You really need to go in there with an understanding that you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket, and you don't want to be in a situation where you're left holding the bag. So you have to do your research, and short of doing your research, have somebody else do your research. That's why we have brokerage firms. That's why you have entities such as Sagicor, GMMB. They can manage the portfolio for you in such a way that you will not lose everything if something goes bad.
I tried, and I did my research and whatever, but I threw in a little bit. Even with the Trans-Jamaica Highway, I put a little pittance over there too.
I will get
and I saw the thing 2 weeks ago, and I said, Jesus, why never put more money? But again, you have to be so careful when you're investing,
Precisely.
But I hope somebody from NCD here and give her back her money because she really, into a spot. The PMP. What is they're promising a better life. What is this better life they're promising us? Nobody going to ask them what will be this better life. I don't understand it.
What is it? What would Jamaicans consider a better life? Because I've been contemplating this for a long time. In terms of, is it the expectation of the average Jamaican, which I hope is not the case, that the government in power is going to guarantee that you can live like a millionaire, that you can buy 2 cars, own 2 homes, and live like a king? Because I don't think that can be a realistic expectation.
Food price will be cheap. Food price will come down. Well, the price of goods and service will be cheaper.
I mean, the most the government can assure you is that you will have a stable footing upon which to start and end your life. And I think that is what a government should be judged on. As it provided that stable footing that you can start your journey on life, even if you have inherent disadvantages or advantages that others have over you, will put them further along than you. That the hard work that you put in on your journey will still get you the result in proportion to the work that you put in. I think that should be the only expectation that government should fulfill.
Our people try to understand what this is.
But I think we're still wallowing in this politics of the government can guarantee me a house, guarantee me a car, and guarantee me the latest fashion.
Yes. Yes. I remember one time we voted Mr. Manley, He didn't come with a plan. And you say where we end up?
But Cleveland, you have the benefit of history to understand that Mike and Manley could go up on a stage and and say nothing about his plans, but what he had, charisma. And he used that to his advantage to win more than one elections,
Yes, and it mislead us bad. You see. We keep talking about Mr. Phillips' help to bring back the economy, but how I understand it, the PMP, when they were in power, were having a warm time, because I think that's the time to getting what they call it paid, They never have no money to pay away.
No, put it simply enough, we did not get
freeze.
If at the time you did not get the IMF deal, the country would be in anarchy.
Yes, I realize that. But somehow or the other, the people were believing in the PMP because the PMP were telling us, vote for them because we'll get a better deal. When Mr. Holness went to Mandeville and tell us that...
He was roundly mocked for putting forward that notion of bitter medicine. He was roundly mocked for it, but I think governance essentially puts you into the reality of what you're actually facing.
I remember the statement was made, I think it was a Sunday evening. And if my memory serves me correct, the PNP had an ad out, if not late the same night, the next morning, about dopey stories and lies. You remember that?
Yeah. You see? And that's it, because they believe. And yet they never able to manage it. The people, they never get a better deal at all. So might as well then they stay with the party
Well, what I will say, Cleveland, at that time we were dealing with a young Andrew Holness just entering as Prime Minister, trying to be as honest as possible, and the information on how we put it forward wasn't palatable to some people, and the PNP utilized that to their advantage.
Well, as usual, same like what's happening now, where the PNP is promising every Jesus thing.
No, but look at it another way.
It's the same thing now.
Look at it another way. Thanks to that experience, I think Jamaica's political intelligence has sobered to quite a degree that we are now questioning what the People's National Party is going to use to fund their election promises and things like that. We have sobered and learned from that experience. And I think history is one of the greatest teachers. And I think without that experience, we would probably still be plodding along to this day. So we were faced with a reality, and that reality has changed Jamaica for the better.
And you have an Andrew Holness that came out smiling, say, yes, see there, I did promise you, I did tell you that it was coming, and it was administered, you know?
I hope we'll now get back to those days, and I don't know. I'm not sure.
I would like to believe, based on what has been put in place, that it's not possible. But then again, it really takes someone to believe that, things have eased up. We can probably just run with it now. We don't need to keep to this very strict adherence anymore. I think that is going to be what could potentially break the dam of fiscal responsibility that we've set up. Because it's not something that you just endure, It's something that has to be built into your DNA, and it has to stay with you for the rest of your time.
Well, the people who do vote don't think about it that way. All right, and that I think we'll have some problem. But I hope people understand.
Cleveland, and it annoys me, to be very honest, that people will sit home to say nothing now gone. They're not coming out to vote. I hate that, and I think more so now than ever, people need to come out and vote.
Yes, I don't like the idea they're telling us that they don't vote.
Don't like it, man.
But yet they will, the first set of people will complain. And you don't have to be there to vote, You just vote for the better party at the time.
I don't care which party you want to vote for. Just vote.
Just go out and vote.
What is your reason? You must have a reason for deciding to vote for whomever in the constituency. Go out and vote.
If you feel that your constituency is not best served, go out and vote. It's simple as that. It doesn't matter whether you feel your JLP MP is not doing you right or your PNP MP is not doing you right. You sitting there at home is not changing the situation. In fact, you sitting at home, you have ceded your vote to people who may not necessarily want the best for the country.
Yes, they don't really understand. They just you get that thing. And then just buy into it, because I think the PNP use that well in this country,
I was amazed, I was amazed.
And people just buy into it, and that's it.
Yeah, I was amazed when they had the protest, and the question was asked, "Why are you out here protesting?" You don't know.
Well, I just
that for me, Cleveland, was telling. Huh? You don't know.
They didn't even know what the FSC was. Or what the FID was. They don't know. Okay.
I just saw one on TV. They were in Central Kingston interviewing, and the lady couldn't tell when they asked her what plans the PNP present. She couldn't tell one of the plans.
But as I said,
as the Grace Price in the chat said, Jeep. You remember Jeep?
Yes, and that
when depending on who you ask within the PNP at that time, they had a different explanation of what Jeep is, and I'm still to this moment I don't think I've ever received a comprehensive idea of what the Jeep plan was.
Right. Anyhow.
Well, as I said, the People's National Party, I think their election thing is that it is a referendum on the government. The government knows it's a referendum on them. So it is up now to the electorate to see whether Dr. Andrew Michael Holness has fulfilled the necessary requirements to win that referendum. I think it's up to the Jamaican people at that point.
I don't want us going back to them days. So anyhow, it looks to me that if they come, that will happen.
Okay, well, I've been told it's time to wrap up by the producer. Thank you for the call, Cleveland. Thank you all in YouTube. Kirk, TD, Hermione, Marigold Weber, Garnet Fullerton, Barbara Bailey, Jamaican for Life. All of you, thank you for joining us. You as well, Kingsley Graham. Thanks to our super producer, Dana Davey, our technical operator, Andrew the Glen Boogs Anderson, all of my friends and compatriots in the newsroom, led by the very capable Cara Powell. Thank you all. I'm Siobhan Campbell.
And my name is Sanjay Lewis, wishing for you a wonderful evening. This is an important announcement from the National Water Commission. The National Water Commission, the NWC, wishes to advise the public that it will be repairing a section of the sewer pipeline network that runs along Railway Lane in Montego Bay, St. James, from 6 a.m. on Monday, July 21, 2025, to 6 p.m. on Friday, August 15, 2025. During this period, Railway Lane between Lightbody Avenue and Barracks Road will be closed to vehicular traffic, so motorists are asked to use alternate routes. As a result of this work, there may also be some dust and noise nuisance. The NWC apologizes for any inconvenience this may cause and crave the patience of and understanding of the public. That was an important announcement from the National Water Commission.